networks to promote your store right from our site. Remember, there are never any fees no matter how much you sell. Become a member today. I'm a member. Get all your friends to sign up too. This could become a great business for you. Sell whatever you want for the first 30 days free at buysellmakeoffer.com.
If you're looking for work, the person you are applying to may be even more nervous than you are. And the way things are now, your references have never been more important. Here are 3 tips. First, know that employers are checking. Every hire is under the microscope these days. Second, they won't just be checking references you provide. Figure that all of your ex-employers will get a call and be asked, would you hire him or her again? Third, assume you will be Googled. So before you apply, remove all those party animal photos from your Facebook page. Even if you're not in the job market, effective communication skills have never been more important, with money and attention so scarce now. For more tips for job seekers and getting better results in all your day-to-day communication, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
Are you sick of government lackeys who say you didn't build that? Are you tired of elitists who think you need a government permission slip for everything? Everything you do is an A to B conversation, and the government should see their way out of it. Create true free markets by adopting the BIPCOT No Government License. The BIPCOT No Gov license allows use or modification of any product, service, or software except by governments or government agents. Go to BIPCOT.org. That's Bravo, India, Papa, Charlie, Oscar, Tango.org.
You can connect with the Liberty Radio Network via our Facebook page at facebook.lrn.fm. That's facebook.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live. You dial in toll-free, take control of the airwaves, bring up anything you want. Our number here, 855-450-FREE, like freedom. It's 855-450-3733. We're talking about 10 mistakes, according to brightside.me, that make people think you're not worth knowing. And we're through 2 of the 10. If you missed the first couple, you can always grab our archive later on over at freetalklive.com. And if you're interested in getting into Bitcoin mining, maybe you're pretty excited about Bitcoin after having learned that it's at record high prices. It's actually down a little bit today from what it was yesterday. It was like 4,400 within the last 48 hours, and today it's like 4,100, 42, somewhere in that range. So if you want to get into some Bitcoin mining, then just go to pool.bitcoin.com. You can forget about the equipment, hassles, the technology. You don't have to know how to mine. You just have to have a little bit of money to put in. You can actually kind of invest the amount that you feel comfortable with. There's a handy calculator over there over at pool.bitcoin.com that can give you some idea of what you might be able to make over at their website, pool.bitcoin.com. There's a 100% uptime guarantee, and you can learn a lot more at pool.bitcoin.com. If you're new to Bitcoin, just go to bitcoin.com and get started there to learn more about what the amazing world's first decentralized cryptocurrency is. So, Johnson, you've got the story here that is it's illustrated, so we're going to try to paint the pictures for you and talk about some of the things that people do, maybe unknowingly, not realizing. Maybe they're just trying to be nice or whatever, but it ultimately does not benefit them.
Right.
So let's get to the third one on the list.
Number 3, being dependent upon the approval of others. And the illustration here is it could be a mother, it could be just a person with their friends. It's kind of a little hard to tell. But she has cooked what looks to be a cake or a pie, and she's holding an empty plate, right? And there are 2 people sitting in front of computers, and they're just sort of chowing down on these
whatever
slices
it was
of cake / pie. And the thought coming out of her head is...
And she's standing in the background.
Yeah, she's standing in the background. She's like, oh, please give me praise for, her cake/pie.
Which is what a lot of people who cook, that's what they want. They want to be appreciated. They want to have people really like what they've made for those folks.
Right. And the second frame here, the right way to do things is I made a real treat. Have some, guys. Just offering. Here it is. I made it for myself. I'm going to enjoy it. And, if you want to enjoy it too, great. There's no need for approval there. And so that's their sort of suggestion is the right way to do it. And in this frame, she's the one sitting in front of the computer, and they're kind of coming in from behind to, gawk at this cake. So it describes people who have a pathological need for approval from others subconsciously give out signals that there's something wrong with them. And people who think others have something wrong with them are usually avoided by virtually everyone. Stop waiting for praise. You don't need to be told you're a good person to actually be one. And don't be scared of criticism. People will criticize you at various times for virtually anything you do.
No doubt. Especially if you're a public person or make a comment online or something like that. There's almost guaranteed to be somebody who hates you for it or says something just completely inappropriate or nasty.
Yep. So for one reason or another, you will be criticized. Your opinion of yourself should always rank as the most important. So again, pretty pretty self-explanatory here.
This is a tough one, though.
Your opinion is most important.
This is a pretty tough change for somebody to make. I mean, it's definitely an accurate description here, but to go from being worried about what other people think about you to just being so sure of yourself, and so
I think that there should be a balance here for sure. Though I don't think that necessarily everyone's opinion should always be ignored. I think there's a rational level of concern there for living as a civilized human being, to have at least some level of concern, but I don't necessarily know how that should be defined. You shouldn't necessarily be dependent upon the approval of others, but I do think that you should be mindful of the opinion of others to a certain extent, if only to just be somewhat respectful. Now, I don't think that all the ideas deserve respect, but those that do deserve respect, you should have respect for. Right?
Right. Yeah, I think that there's, depending on the role of the person in your life, an anonymous YouTube commenter, who cares what that person thinks? That person is not someone you know. They're hiding behind their computer screen. They are cowards.
I need everyone on my channel to love me.
Yeah. Oh, I got to have more likes than dislikes on my YouTube video or, whatever. And no, that's not okay. But on the other hand, if you're living with somebody, if that person is close to you, or a lover or a roommate or a husband or wife or whatever, then obviously you are concerned, to some extent, what that person thinks. You are interested in making sure that you have a relationship into the future. So there's a range, I think, of options here. But I definitely understand where they're coming from. That to only rely on the praise of others and to not be satisfied with the thing that you've created or the thing that you're doing on its own merits for your own reasons, that is definitely a mistake.
Right.
Well, hold that thought. Let's go to somebody who knows a thing or two about making mistakes. He's Scott the Bigot, calling from Massachusetts. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Scott.
Hello, Mark. How are you?
Mark's actually not here.
Ian.
But Ian and Johnson, so go ahead.
I don't give a damn about what people think of me. Most people, forget about blacks or Jews or Hispanics. Most people are no good. They're garbage. And I don't say that to get a joke or whatever. I hate people. They're no good. I deal with them day to day, to bank with, to get things done, get groceries. Other than that, when the end of the day is done, I don't want them. I've never had anything but problems from them. Remember these words. Never expect anything from anyone, and you'll never be disappointed.
You know what? I don't agree with you on a whole lot of stuff, Scott, but the last part there, if you don't have expectations, then you won't be disappointed. That much I agree with, but I don't agree with you that people are terrible or people are bad or whatever. But, if Mark were here, he probably would agree with you. He's got that same jaded, cynical attitude that you do as well. And I think that attitude is a mistake, to look at other human beings that are no different from you fundamentally, they may think differently than you. They may have different ideas. They may have different beliefs. But ultimately, we all, are sharing the same air. We all have to eat. We all have to sleep. We all have, we want to be accepted and loved and have people who appreciate us.
Most people are good. They're just most people are.
I never got any love in life. Most people,
Your mother didn't love you?
Rejection. Yes. But outside of that, from other people, people basically want things from you. It's always something. What can they get from you?
So
It's
getting back to the racism thing.
Again, part of life is figuring out what you can give to people. You should be able to give people something that they want, so then therefore you can get what you want, which is of course a roof over your head or a dry place to live and creature comforts and things like that. Scott, thank you for the call tonight, for your dose your little dose of negativity for the evening. The toll-free number here, 855-450-FREE. But I think he brought up some interesting things that maybe deserve a little further digging. We'll get into that, and you can share your thoughts with us. 855-450-FREE, like freedom. Is it just that people want things from you? Are people really bad? Or is it all Scott's fault?
Welcome aboard. Your new science fiction adventure is ready to launch. Discover an amazing journey at GalaxyQuestBooks.com. Start a new sci-fi adventure with the Guardian series, a classic sci-fi mystery that starts 500 years in the future. From author D. Arthur Gussner. Series available from Barnes & Noble or Amazon as paperback or ebooks. GalaxyQuestBooks.com, where the adventure begins.
Tyler, time to go for our family walk.
Just let me nap a little longer.
You promised we'd get more active.
I know. How come you're so ready to go?
It's Superberry's Aronia berries.
Aronia what?
Aronia berries from superberries.com. They're known for having one of the highest levels of antioxidants that helps with overall wellness.
Where'd you get them?
I ordered them from superberries.com/radio, and right now we can get a free smoothie recipe book with our order. Plus, we can save $4 at checkout.
I can't wait to try them. I'll get the dog.
I'll get the kids.
Choose health. Eat purple. Superberries.com.
Free Talk Live.
I thought pagans worshipped the earth. I didn't think they'd cast spells.
Well, and they do rituals, and they believe in the spirits and the energies and whatever other crap makes them feel better about themselves afternoon.
Wait. Paganism has something to it. There's sun worship involved in there, and I think the sun, if you're going to pick a god,
there is real energy involved in the sun.
Is a pretty good god. I mean,
real endothermic energy. Yes,
it's reliable. Every day it rises and it sets.
Yeah. And if we don't have it, we'll freeze to death.
Yeah. If you don't have him, you die immediately. Like life on the planet just begins to shut down without the sun. Sun's a good god, all in all.
Right, but then once you start making requests of the sun, you start going overboard.
Well,
once you say, "Oh, great and powerful sun, help photosynthesis." Yes. I mean, unless you are asking for something other than green plants or vitamin D, you need.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com. Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You dial in toll-free here and bring up anything that you want. Our number is 855-450-FREE. Like freedom, 855-450-3733. With you tonight, you've got Ian.
And Johnson.
Also, do want to let you know how you can check out the show online over at freetalklive.com. Of course, we've got audio streams and podcasts, downloadable archives for the audio side of things. We also have a webcam, so if you're watching live during our live hours from 7 to 10 at night Eastern, you can see us over at cam.freetalklive.com. When I remember to turn the cam on, which I sometimes do, and sometimes it takes me a segment, but we got it. We're on now. Cam.freetalklive.com. It's free if you want to watch them later on. We do have a YouTube channel as well, so you can just go to youtube.freetalklive.com, and that'll take you right there.
You need like an auto hotkey script or something like that to automatically flip the cam on for you based on.
Then I would have to remember to turn the script on. That's the thing.
No, you just leave it in memory. Auto hotkey takes up like nothing in memory.
I actually do use an auto hotkey script to change the camera angles.
Mm-hmm.
But
you're doing it based on a keyboard shortcut. But maybe you could do have one up for just based on a timer.
Could be. Yeah, that is something that it can do, I bet. I just haven't looked into it yet. It's not a bad idea.
There you go.
All right, so we're talking about a list that you brought in here, Johnson, from brightside.me. It's 10 mistakes that make people think you're not worth knowing. We talked about needless self-sacrifice. We talked about a lack of self-respect, being dependent on the approval of others. That's as far as we've gotten.
Right.
But
Number
then
4.
Scott the Bigot called in. And he went off on how he hates people. He just hates people. I mean, we know he's bigoted against, people who are different color and religion than him. But it sounds like just he hates people in general, even if they are the same color as him. Yeah. He said he never experienced any love except for from his own mother. And, it's possible that that's because of him, right? Like, it's not necessarily because of other people out there not being willing to love Scott or not having the potential or capacity for love. It could be that Scott is just so toxic, is just so undesirable as far as being around him because of his opinions and the way he expresses himself, that maybe he's never even had a chance at having somebody care enough about him.
And
like
he also went through this whole scenario about how nobody, everybody always wants something from him, and
that's right.
I immediately was like, okay, so what? Of course they do. Everything about wanting everything. Every relationship with someone is a win-lose relationship. So basically, you would want to have people. You want to be able to give something to people. You want people to be able to take from you, and you should expect that people want something from you. You should expect to be able to give something to them. And so I suggest that Scott reads Ayn Rand actually on this, because that was one of the biggest tenets of her philosophy, was about selfishness and about enlightened selfishness. And in fact, one book that she wrote was called The Virtue of Selfishness. That's the whole kind of crux behind most of her objectivist philosophy, is just about how people are way too focused on sacrifice and self-sacrifice. It's what religion's all about. It's what a lot of philosophy is all about, is about sacrificing without really rationally kind of considering that sacrifice and considering what the value of it is and what the worth of it is. And so her sort of philosophy is that a lot of people aren't even really actually making sacrifices. They're doing things because of their values. They, people are acting based on certain values, and they're doing it haphazardly. They don't understand. They don't understand philosophy. They haven't considered these things. So they're really just taking actions and not really considering, like, why am I doing this? I'm making a sacrifice. I'm such a great person. Well, no, you're not. You're doing this because you value this church, or you value your friends who you're giving money to,
or it makes you feel good to do those things.
Yeah, it makes you feel good. It's just there's not actually a sacrifice there, and so. But a lot of religions and a lot of philosophies argue for true sacrifice. You shouldn't have those good feelings. You should just be giving and just feeling as bad as you possibly can. And the ultimate sacrifice is, of course, to give up your life in service of something, right? Duty, honor, duty.
The
right?
state.
And of course, the deeper you get into these philosophies, the more you start to realize this is a really dark, life-hating way of living.
Right. Yeah, and if it turns out that you hate your life, if it turns out you hate yourself, then you shouldn't be surprised when other people also don't really much care for you.
And so what's really kind of interesting, is to hear Scott personify that, right? Just come right out and say, well, I hate everything because everybody wants something from me. And it's like, yeah, okay. You hit it on the head. You got it. Now understand it. So that's why I'm kind of saying to him, go read some Ayn Rand. Read, the stories of Howard Roark or whatever. Read Atlas Shrugged. Read what's the other big one? She's got Virtuous Selfishness obviously would be a good one. Anthem.
That's the only one I've ever read.
Anthem. I think Anthem and Atlas.
It was
Shrugged
in high school.
Anthem is the little tiny one though, right? That's the short one.
Short.
Atlas Shrugged is huge, but it's very, very good.
But she's not really a libertarian, right? She's not, from what I understand. She's like supports the police, the military, or something like that.
It's very strange because she comes off as an anarcho-capitalist in the biggest way. Supposedly, to a certain extent, she supports the police and all that, but I don't know. She doesn't support it as a function of government. So...
Yeah, see, I don't know enough about her.
Without us and our modern sort of understanding of these things being able to have a discussion with her, which we can't.
Right.
I don't really know how anyone could actually answer that, because who knows?
Yeah, I mean, over all these years of having hosted
I can tell you,
she
wouldn't be supporting Molyneux for sure.
I hope not.
Who is some of these folks who have talked about, and that's that's the other part of the problem is a lot of people who have been Rand followers and loudly talked about her philosophy have just gone off the rails, and they end up turn into these wacky Republican, weird, hawkish, warmongering ideologues that are just ugh.
Yeah, I don't know enough about Ayn Rand. Like I said, I only read that one book, and it was back in high school. It was because I had to. But obviously a lot of people in the liberty movement have a lot of reverence for her, even though she, I believe, specifically, didn't like libertarians or something like that. But obviously she's got some...
A lot of anarchists, a lot of anarcho-capitalists don't like libertarians.
There's some valuable...
Libertarians don't like libertarians.
There's some valuable stuff she has to say, and you've gone over what I find the most valuable and what I've heard from her and her followers. But the thing that kind of creeps me out the most about her is this cult of personality that there's essentially like cult members, basically people who are like obsessed with her and following her every diktat or recommendation or whatever.
Definitely, yeah.
The objectivists, I guess.
Yeah, and it's weird because she wouldn't like that either.
Is that right?
I think very clearly she believed people could be heroes and heroic, but for their own sake, not for anybody else's sake. So she would not want people following her. She was always very much of a person who said, make up your own things and believe in those things. And it was in every field, in every way, in aesthetics, in building, in sports, in everything. Just do it your own way, do it differently.
Do it for you.
Do it for you.
Yeah. Well, because if you're living for somebody else, then you are essentially just an extension of that other person. You're not doing, if you're not living for your own reasons, if you're not doing the things that please you, if you're always trying to please others, then, you'll never, I don't think you'll ever be truly happy.
Which probably brings us really well back into our topic.
But the other side of that coin is you do have to please others in order to get the things you want in life. So there's a balancing act.
Sure. But I think this next one, number 4 here, would be the exact opposite of Scott.
Scott the Bigot, okay.
Scott the Bigot. And that is searching for the source of problems only within yourself.
All right, let's look at that coming up here in moments. Your calls and thoughts are welcome. If you want to join us here, it's a little bit of self-improvement tonight here on Free Talk Live. I always enjoy these discussions. You're welcome to join us toll-free at 855-450-FREE, like freedom, 855-450-3733, and also Skype it at Skype username LRN.FM. This is Free Talk Live.
Have you ever thought you'd like to flip houses but didn't know how or where to get the money? Are you ready to be your own boss so you can start living the good life? Hi, I'm Preston Ely. I used to be so broke. I had my electricity turned off 9 times, but I figured out a way to quit my job and find financial freedom in real estate. For a limited time, I want to send you a free copy of my smash hit selling book, How to Get Rich in Real Estate. It shows you how to copy exactly what I did so you can make money from the comfort of your own home without even doing any manual labor. I've already given away 5,000 books and they're going fast. To get one before they're gone, call 1-800-958-9256. Listen, if you're sick and tired of stressing about money, this book could change your life. It's short, fun to read, easy to understand, and awesome. To find out how to get your free book while supplies last, call 1-800-958-9256. Call 1-800-958-9256. 1-800-958-9256.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-557-0158. That's 800-557-0158. Again, 800-557-0158.
Hi, I'm Derek J. To me, an activist's calling is to actively work to advance a cause. The cause for which I work is personal freedom. I believe my life is best when I engage in voluntary interactions and self-government. I reject the idea that anyone else has a higher claim to my life or my body than I do. I see people who call themselves the government as a threat to my personal freedom. I realize you may feel differently, but my relationship with the people who call themselves the government is completely involuntary. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Stouffer's, helping bring your family together with wholesome dinner options, even on the busiest of nights. Find dinner table ideas to bring your family together at letsfixdinner.com. To get kids involved in dinnertime conversation, ask specific questions, not broad ones. Instead of what happened today at school, try what was the best thing that happened today. The more specific you are, the more they'll have to say. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Dial toll-free, join us on the radio, and we can talk about mistakes that people make that make them less desirable to be around. Maybe you're making some of these mistakes, or not all of them, probably not all of them. But we're going to get into that. We'll get more. I think we're only through like 4 or on number 4. We'll continue. Of course, you're welcome to join us with your calls and thoughts. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom, 855-450-3733. Ian and Johnson here. And by the way, don't forget, you can head over to freetalklive.com to get behind the show as a Free Talk Live amplifier at amp.freetalklive.com. AMP stands for Advertise, Market, and Promote. The idea is it's $5 a month, and that is money that we will invest into Free Talk Live. You'll get some cool perks, and we'll be able to get on more radio stations around the country, bring new internet listeners on board, and expose new people to the ideas of freedom. You'll get the perks, including access to the AMP-only call-in lines, the AMP-only podcast, which doesn't have the regular podcast commercials that our normal podcast does. We've also, in addition to that, got the AMP-only Facebook group and more. Get all the details over at amp.freetalklive.com, ampamp.freetalklive.com, and you can sign up with PayPal, credit card, and Bitcoin. So head over to amp.freetalklive.com. We're talking about, you were just about to get into this one, Johnson, on the list from brightside.me on the 10 mistakes that make people think you're not worth knowing, which is to search for the source of problems only within yourself.
Sort of the opposite of the people-hating, people-blaming misanthrope who thinks that everything is everyone else's fault.
Right.
This type of person blames themselves for everything, says, it's all my fault, I've ruined it again. That's what's in the illustration here. The person's grabbing the sides of their heads, staring at their computer screen with something has obviously gone horribly wrong. Versus, well, never mind. Let's go have coffee and think about how we can solve it. Right? It just, this happened, but we just have to fix it, and they don't care at all. They have no care.
Yeah, that's a good point. Fretting about something that is already done is not going to make it better.
Right.
So maybe you did make a mistake. Maybe it was your fault, whatever it was.
Right.
But, freaking out about it is not going to make things better. You need to get down to the brass tacks of solving whatever the problem is, if it's possible to solve.
Right. So the description, you automatically believe people are right except when it comes to yourself. You put the responsibility for what's going on around you on yourself. No one's going to thank you for this. But taking advantage of you and making your life even harder might be easier for others under such circumstances. Searching for those who are in the wrong is a thankless task. Torturing yourself will bring you neither love nor pity from others. It's better to focus your efforts on finding a solution to the problem.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely have known people in our lives like this. It may be hard to admit, but there are definitely people out there who truly hate themselves. And if you hate yourself, if you can't find anything about yourself to appreciate or to love or, to look positively about, then of course you're going to blame yourself for everything that goes wrong.
Right.
And that's I don't know how you get somebody out of that. I don't know how you teach somebody who is a self-loather to be a self-lover. That's a big gap to jump.
Right.
And it's not something that I don't think it's something that you can just decide one morning that I'm going to love myself today.
You don't necessarily want somebody to be the opposite either, because you don't want them to be arrogant and, like just completely, I don't know, like a jerk.
Sure.
Guess, would be
like
the
announcing to everybody about how great you are, that kind of thing.
Sure.
Yeah.
Which is actually the next one. But yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, well, there's definitely a difference between loving yourself and being humble and, humility.
Right.
So
yep.
Balancing act.
Balancing, for sure.
Yeah.
A lot of these are all about balance, I think. Boasting. This is the next one here. I believe that we're on number 6, 5, 6?
I don't know. We'll figure it out.
So the illustration is, but I'm so nice, so kind, and I can cook. And it shows this girl crying and this guy like trying to drag himself away from her, and he's saying, stop it. And the opposite is she's at the, he's like, they're going into the, through a door for some reason. And he's saying, you're so wonderful. You're so kind. You cook so well. I adore you. Right? She's not saying it. He's lavishing her with praise because she hasn't been boasting in this thing. So emphasizing your virtues and begging for respect is the basis for a dependent relationship. And trying to convince those around you that you're a good person, you'll end up getting only rejection, even if you really are a good person. You can show you're worth something only by genuinely believing that you are yourself. When you know your own value, you don't need to prove it to anyone.
Yeah, that's a pretty deep one.
Yeah. Again, this just to reiterate what this article is. It's 10 mistakes that people make. 10 mistakes that make people think that you're not worth knowing. So remember that that's what this is about acting and being a certain way that's going to make people want to know who you are, and not be somebody who people want to avoid and ignore.
Yeah, so this is sort of similar to, or maybe kind of the opposite almost, but a similar solution as the one earlier, the lack of self-respect. So the person who doesn't respect themselves is in sort of the opposite place of the person who is constantly announcing how great they are. Whereas the solution to both of them is to just know yourself as a good person and to do good things, but not have to,
because boasting
is
it's sort of a form of approval seeking. It's just one is the introvert's version of approval seeking.
It's sort of the opposite of fishing for compliments, right? Like trying to talk about how bad you are, so somebody will say, "Oh no, you're not that bad. You're great."
Right, like the one, where we're just talking about the pie or the cake or whatever is like, please approve of this thing that I did, and not actually asking for or even fishing for compliments, just inwardly going, please approve of me. And this is sort of the outward version of literally saying, approve of me.
Right, look at all this great thing.
Look at all these things that I do, approve of me. So both are kind of in the same vein. And relate to this next one, a fear of rejection.
All right.
So this one here is bad, the bad behavior. Borrow some money and help out a friend.
These are two people talking.
Yep, two people talking. Do you remember that you haven't paid me back for the last time? No problem, it'll work out, and I'll pay you back straight away. Great. Right? It's like the person's like, great, sure, yeah, he's going to pay me back. They're afraid to say no. And the person says... then the one that says, give me some money, the person's asking, and the other person says, no. And they're like, well, okay. It's just, they're not very realistic dialogues, let's say.
Meaning that the person in the first frame, who is the person who's being asked for the money,
just capitulates.
The idea is that person's afraid that this other person, the deadbeat, is not. They're afraid they're not going to pay. They know they're probably not going to pay because they haven't paid back the last time, but they don't want to lose that person's respect or friendship or whatever, so they go ahead and they do it anyway, which means they get walked on, probably.
Right. So it says you don't want to upset anyone, even if it comes at the price of making you unhappy. You pretend everything's going to be okay. You pretend everything's okay to prevent others from worrying that you're not satisfied. And the result is that you're very often not satisfied. Don't be afraid to say no. Even the nicest people in the world may try to use you if you allow them to.
Yep.
Help others only when you want to help them. I actually tend to do this myself a lot.
To get walked on, or help only when you want to?
No, I tend, a little bit of both, actually. It depends on the situation. I tend to help people and not say no when I should a lot of the time. And I tend to do this a lot in business situations. But in other situations, I don't help. Probably when I could or should, but
Well,
so I'm of both minds on that.
So this goes back to one of the things I was saying earlier. If you're living for the approval of others, if you're living to solely for their, to do what those others want you to do.
Right.
That maybe it's something like you're growing up in a family where all the men have always joined the military, right? And so you're expected to, join the military. And you don't really want to, but that's what dad did, and that's what his grandpa did, and that's what mom and dad want you to do, and so you don't want to disappoint mom and dad, so you go and join the military, or you continue a family business that you don't really have an interest in, or whatever. And so
or work for too little money, or I'd say
or keep working somewhere you hate.
Yeah, keep working somewhere you hate. Loan people money you shouldn't be loaning. I mean, that's the literal example, but or loan too much, or But I think that I was saying I do this in relationships with people who I know, and I don't do it in relationships where I don't know people. I'm not giving enough to strangers.
So you're not likely to give to a bum on the streets
at all.
All right, there's more coming up here. Let's continue with this list of 10 things that are mistakes that make people think you're not worth knowing. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. Like freedom, it's Free Talk Live.
Have you ever thought about mining Bitcoin? Did the costs, constant equipment upgrades, and maintenance scare you off? Do you want to make Bitcoin every day in the same mining pool that Ian and I do? Pool.bitcoin.com. There's a 100% uptime guarantee. The website's easy to use, and you can calculate what you're going to make right there on the website at pool.bitcoin.com. Help steer Bitcoin towards the liberating currency that Satoshi Nakamoto meant it to be. I'm not just making money at pool.bitcoin.com. I'm doing activism while I sleep. Pool.bitcoin.com.
Do you want to help build a better financial system for everyone? Join Dash. Dash is Digital Cash, a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast and easy, fees are low, and transactions are confirmed instantly. Dash is decentralized, run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Dash is set up to succeed where other platforms have failed. Give it a try at dash.org. Help people take control over their financial future today. Find out more at dash.org.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Tuesday, August 15th, 2017. Silver is trading at $16.82 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,273 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 4.1 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $4,102. Antiwar.com reports web hosting company DreamHost issued a statement on their website on Monday revealing that they have been served with a search warrant by the Department of Justice, which is seeking information about visitors to an anti-Trump website they host. The targeted website is disruptj20.org, which is involved in anti-Trump public protest, and the demands for materially all data on the site is related to the putative involvement in the protest against President Trump's inauguration in January. This includes all data on communications and funding of the website, as well as all 1.3 million IP addresses of everyone who ever visited the website, along with any contact information identifying those readers of the site. This is a virtually unprecedented public demand for data, doubly concerning since it appears the demands are based purely on the potential political beliefs of the end users because of the content they've read. DreamHost is arguing that the warrant violates the Fourth Amendment and is resisting the efforts to give up the broad collection of data. The DOJ has yet to offer any statement related to the revelation of the warrant, let alone offered any defense for trying to amass the identities of 1.3 million Americans with anti-Trump political leanings. Making the matter public may well end up killing it off, as the warrant is such a huge overreach and such a troubling invasion of privacy that any Justice Department legal argument is sure to be skewered in the press. Indeed, that such warrants would necessarily be an outrage to the public is a big reason why other surveillance-related warrants have tended to be issued covertly by secret courts, warrants, and why in the past the government has warned those served with such warrants from disclosing them to anyone. The goal of such efforts is always a lot more far-reaching than just the individual targets at the time, despite 1.3 million people already being a pretty substantial target. Rather, the long-term goal is to create legal precedents for such demands, allowing the DOJ to make such plainly unreasonable demands a routine matter of course, giving them endless access to the identity of potential targets. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports big box retailer Target announced on Monday it will acquire software startup Grand Junction to better compete with Amazon and Walmart in local deliveries, including same-day delivery. San Francisco-based Grand Junction connects retailers and other distributors to more than 700 carriers across North America and, according to Target, currently handles same-day deliveries for Target stores in Manhattan's Tribeca neighborhood. Arthur Valdez, Target's chief supply chain and logistics officer and a former Amazon executive, said on a blog post, Target will have immediate access to Grand Junction's technology and carrier network, which will accelerate the work we're doing to improve our speed of delivery. It will also boost our ability to offer new services like same-day delivery and even assembly and installation to our guests. Target, which has about 1,800 physical stores, plans to expand same-day services to other New York City stores by October and to additional U.S. cities early next year. The retailer did not disclose terms to acquire Grand Junction, which has 13 employees and was founded in 2014. Grand Junction coordinates about 6 million local deliveries a month, but will drop service to CVS and Office Depot. Target recently launched next-day delivery of household items called Target Restock in its home market of Minneapolis. It also has worked with Instacart for same-day grocery delivery in some markets. Target's online sales grew 22% in the first quarter of this year. Walmart's growth was 63% in the first quarter of this year after acquiring bulk retailer Jet.com for $3.3 billion. Amazon's Prime service already lets members in about 30 metropolitan areas receive orders as quickly as 1 hour. Michael Lasser, an analyst at USB Group AG, told Bloomberg, "There's clearly an arms race going on from the mass merchant, recognizing that getting everyday essentials in the hands of customers is critical. The purchase of Grand Junction should help Target compete on these terms in a more economical fashion." This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
The Dick Cheney Vice Presidential Library opens in a pitch-dark, sulfurous underground cave, and a seedless watermelon is coming to grips with the fact it'll never be able to have kids. This is the Onion Week in Review. Following a litany of tragedies occurring over the past year, a report this week from scientists at Princeton University confirmed that 90% of the Earth's atmosphere is now made up of thoughts and prayers. Researchers confirmed that with the rise of tragic events occurring all across the world each and every day, the Earth's atmosphere is 7% nitrogen, 3% oxygen, and 90% emotional pleas begging for everything to be okay. In other news, a new study finds nothing that will actually convince you to change your lifestyle, so just forget it. UMass Dartmouth is beginning to regret offering a course in applied domestic terrorism, and a sparrow thinks it might have caught the bird flu after puking seeds all morning. Stay tuned after the video for a brief tear in the fabric of space-time, offering a glimpse at next week's Onion Review. And keep checking theonion.com for more.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live, launching here into the second hour of the program. Of course, you're invited to join us on the radio and take control of the airwaves. Our number here is 855-450, free like freedom. We're talking about a list of 10 mistakes that people make that make it so... 10 mistakes that you might be making that make people think you're not worth knowing. And we're going to continue with that list. It's Ian and Johnson in the studio here tonight. But let's go to your calls and thoughts, because you are welcome to weigh in. We're about, I think, just over halfway through the list at this point, digging in, deep, talking about these, I think, pretty important issues that sort of focus around really knowing yourself and self-love and being comfortable with who you are and not really being so worried about what others think. But let's go to Patrick in Bullhead City. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Patrick.
Hey, guys. I think this is a real good topic. I haven't heard something this interesting in a long time.
Appreciate it. What do you want to add into it?
Well, I've learned over the years, now I've gotten older, is it's all about how you feel in the morning. Do you feel good about yourself? Do you like what you see? It's not really about anybody else's opinion, because you're the one who has to live with yourself.
Yep, that's absolutely true.
And, you can't go out there and please everybody. That's an impossibility. There's just no way. So if you go out there with the attitude that there's going to be people that are going to like you, and there's going to be people that aren't not going to like you, and either or, everybody's entitled to their opinion.
Sure. I like what old Harry Brown had to say about it. He was the Libertarian Party presidential candidate back in the year 1996 and 2000, but he was also a really great author who wrote some excellent books. One of them was one of my favorites, what really brought me into libertarianism, which was called Why Government Doesn't Work. But he also had, he did a series.
Fail-Safe Investing.
Fail-Safe Investing, great book. How I Found Freedom in an Unfree World. That's another really classic Harry Brown book. And then there was actually this kind of self-help seminar that Harry Brown did, and it was recorded, so you can actually get. You used to be able to buy copies of it. I don't know if you can download it now or what, but I listened to this, and he had what he called the Silver Rule. Because you've heard of the Golden Rule, right? Which is to treat others as you wish to be treated. Harry Brown's Silver Rule, as he called it, was that you should always be true to yourself, because you want to attract to you the people who appreciate you for who you are. Because it's like what you're saying, Patrick. In any time that you express yourself, whether it's publicly or at work or whatever, there's going to be people who disagree with you. There's going to be people who agree. But if you're changing who you are to try to appease people, a certain group of people, or everyone, as you said, which is of course impossible. But if you're trying to mold yourself into someone who you're not in order to satisfy other people, you're going to attract the wrong people. You're going to attract more people who want the you that they think you are, which is the one that's putting on a facade, the one that's trying to be someone that you're not. Whereas if you are who you are, you're truly true to yourself, you put that out there into the world, well, that will be a signal to others who have similar values as you that you'd make a good friend, or you'd make a good lover, or partner, or whatever. And so that silver rule is basically to be true to yourself, so you can attract the best people who are the best matches for you and who you really are.
Well, I guess the best thing my dad said when I first started getting involved in law enforcement, he says, don't try to manipulate yourself into somebody you're not.
Great advice. Patrick, anything else you want to share tonight?
No, actually, I just wanted to listen to your program. I was really getting into it on the way home, and I got it on the radio now, so I want to turn it up and hear more. But,
right on.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate what you're putting through today.
Thank you, Patrick, for the call tonight. Appreciate the input. The toll-free number here is 855-450, free like freedom.
I have an interesting point on the whole Silver Rule situation.
Sure.
Because one thing that I found interesting, I've been, in a lot of work situations where you have to kind of put on airs, sometimes to, you have to be somebody who you're not necessarily.
Sure, you can't tell the angry customer that's coming in complaining about something to go F themselves or whatever.
Sure, but I've also been in work situations sometimes where it's like there are people you work with, like if you're a conservative and you work with a lot of liberals, for example, or vice versa. You might have to put on airs. But sometimes I find that it's more complicated than just, being one or the other, because I find that everything, you could say you attract the type of people that are like-minded or whatnot to yourself, but I find that I think that it's not that simple because you can create a bubble around yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's always could be a problem, and I feel like this is definitely something that they're, and other social media sites are just a problem that they're aggravating by
echo chamber.
Very easy to create these bubble echo chambers, but also that not everybody is that one-dimensional. In other words, you can't say that you're going to just attract everyone who's like-minded. Well, not everyone's going to
be the exact same as you.
No, that's true.
You're more likely to attract somebody who has similar values than attract somebody who's completely antithetical to you.
True.
If you're true to yourself.
True. I think that's generally true. And what I find interesting is I think that, there are... I think certain groups, even if you put on airs, right, to a certain extent, as long as you're relatively genuine and you're not a complete fraud, you might find some connection in groups that are not necessarily like. In other words, if you're like, okay, for example, there have been a lot of stories about a former host of Free Talk Live that have been going out recently about Chris Cantwell, who
he's been making headlines, got the front page of the newspaper.
Somebody who's put himself out there entirely now, and he's just gone out and his racism, and now he's creating this entire bubble around himself for sure. And there's definitely
that's true.
And there's definitely like-minded people around him. I don't know that that's necessarily the best possible thing. There's this whole, there might be some like-minded people, but maybe there are other aspects to him that he could have if he were not just completely going in one direction, could have maybe flourish, but now he's locked into this, having to be
how does he get out of this one?
Having to be a certain way in order to, it's like a pattern that's been set, and I find that, if you're not, again, not being completely fake, completely dishonest, if you're exploring different sides of yourself and of groups of people, I think there's room for growth there and room for finding values in other I guess.
How does
cultures.
Chris? I agree with you. Chris Cantwell has painted himself into this corner,
right?
And he is definitely attracting people who are like-minded to him. If you look at his Facebook profile, for listeners that don't know, we're talking
they
about.
Seem like-minded anyway.
Well, we're right. So Christopher Cantwell, for those that don't know, is a former co-host here on Free Talk Live. We dumped him as a co-host after we found out that he was a racist.
Right.
And he still, will call in from time to time and share his opinions, which we tend to disagree with very, very vehemently.
Right.
But that's who you're mentioning. He was in Charlottesville over the weekend, had pictures and video taken of him involved in fights, and he is what he is. He's painted himself
is running around screaming blood and soil.
Right. He's painted himself into that corner, and maybe this is where he's going to stay for the rest of his life. But if you look back at Chris over just the last half of a decade, you'll see a man who's changed quite a bit. You'll see, when he first came here to Keene, New Hampshire, when he moved here, part of the Free State Project, back when he was, as we thought, just a regular libertarian who had a hate for the police.
Right.
That was kind of his bag when he first moved here.
Now he loves them.
Now he likes the cops because he sees them as his allies in oppressing minorities that he doesn't like, because he's now become a racist. And I always wondered, well, how is Chris gonna go from? Where's he gonna go from here? What's he gonna morph into next? How do you? Because right now he's scraping the bottom of the barrel with white supremacy and all that. Like, what could be worse than this? For a little while I think he actually managed to top himself as far as being worse, because he started to come out in favor of domestic abuse as well, which is like kind of his newest thing. It's like, so yeah, I thought the bottom of the barrel was white nationalists, but now it's white nationalists who supports domestic abuse because he says that that's what women want.
Right. Right, yep.
The toll-free number here is 855. So, yeah, where does he go from here? I don't know. 855-450-3733. He could eat some crow and apologize.
Don't do what I did and run out. If it's working, don't quit. Why would you stop? Why undo all the good that's been accomplished?
You've got to feed them right for life.
Dynavite
is nutrition.
If I ever took Roy off of Dynavite.
No.
When I get to about 3/4,
When I get down to the bottom of my box of Dynavite, oh no, I've got a couple more scoops. It's time to place my order. Dynavite.com. DINOVITE.com.
859-428-1000.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite for your dog this week.
We'll send you a bottle of NomoFlea free.
NomoFlea flea spray kills fleas safely with no poison.
Because it's a polypeptide protein molecule made from
vegetable oil.
Try NomoFlea.
Free this week at Dynavite.com.
Just feed your dog right. Use Dynavite.
Dynavite for life.
859-428-1000.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
Do you trust our economy? How about our banking system? Our president has stated we are sitting on a bubble right now, and that when the Fed raises interest rates, bad things are going to happen. Well, the Fed is raising rates here and now. There has never been a better time to turn your IRA or 401k into physical gold or silver with GSI Exchange. Call 833-GSI-GOLD. GSI Exchange can make this happen fast, and it's money you control, not the big banks. 833-GSI-GOLD. Ask about our bank failure survival guide and learn how your qualified IRA transfer can get you $1,500 in free physical gold or silver delivered right to your home. GSI Exchange has an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Call GSI Exchange at 833-GSI-GOLD. That's 833-474-4653. Or visit us on the web at gsi.gold.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
You may already know about the Free Talk Live audio on demand phone line at 641-793-9660. Did you know that not only can you listen to Free Talk Live via your phone, you can also leave a message and have it delivered to Free Talk Live's hosts? To leave us your thoughts, just dial 641-793-9660. That's 641-793-9660. Press 2 for Free Talk Live, and then hit 0 to leave your message.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
It's Free Talk Live. You can dial toll-free to join us here. We're talking about you. Talking about people. Talking about self-improvement. And we got more to go here on the story that Johnson had brought in from brightside.me, the 10 mistakes that make people think you're not worth knowing. We've got a few more of these to get through, and we're going to continue with that list here in moments. Also, if you want to help build a better financial system for everyone, you really ought to join Dash. Dash is digital cash, a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast, private, and easy. Fees are low, and transactions are fast and can even be confirmed instantly. You can pay anyone, anywhere in the world, anytime, for just pennies on the dollar. Dash is decentralized and run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Anyone can invest in Dash and earn rewards for helping run the Dash network. So join Dash and help create a better financial system for everyone. Take back control over your financial future today. Find out more at Dash.org. There's a lot of momentum behind Dash right now. Check it out at Dash.org and find out why. We're going to continue on the list here in moments. Your calls and thoughts are also welcome. Stefan is in Ohio on Skype. Hello, Stefan.
I'd like to discuss the non-aggression principle.
Yeah, sure. This is the bedrock principle of the libertarian movement that says that that you should not use aggressive force to achieve your political or social goals, or the threat of aggressive force.
I've been discussing this with a few libertarians and people who say they're libertarians, and I'm noticing, do you think there are a lot of people who take it to the extreme and go a little overboard at what could be considered aggression?
Can you give me an example?
Well, there had been a discussion on like a neighbor. It's the classic example of like, let's say a neighbor has like a disgusting smelling barbecue or something, or they have like a sofa on their porch and it's all smelly and the odor is like ridiculous, and the neighbors can smell it even in their house if they have the windows open. And some people would argue that is aggression. Do you think that that takes it too far?
Now, that's an interesting question. I think the classic example is the neighbor that's making noise or whatever in the middle of the night, and then you would argue that the sound waves are hitting the person's property in an inappropriate manner, and they didn't ask for that, and that could be seen as aggression. Certainly, if it's loud enough, it could damage your hearing, so there's no doubt there. But as far as a stinky couch goes, well, that has to be a really stinky couch.
See, this is the thing about a principle that a lot of people don't understand. Be a good person. That's a principle. What does it mean? Well, it's kind of up to you to determine that. Yeah, it's subjective. So is the non-aggression principle. The idea behind the non-aggression principle, there's a lot of situations where it might make a whole lot of sense to aggress against someone, to push him if there's an oncoming car coming. You just pushed a person. You violated the non-aggression principle.
But you might have saved their life.
Yeah, but you violated the non-aggression principle. Are you saying you shouldn't violate the non-aggression principle because you don't want to violate the non-aggression principle because that's universally wrong? No, you do the right thing because sometimes it makes sense to violate the non-aggression principle. It's a principle. It's not a law.
Right.
Would that by definition violate libertarianism then? If you are violating the core principle?
No.
If there are, well,
that's the whole point of principles is you're allowed to violate them. That's the thing that I don't get. And it's like one of the biggest arguments that, like, for example, a lot of these new ridiculous alt-righters, former supposed libertarians / now they're alt-right lunatics. They're like, the non-aggression principle is ridiculous and it's for losers. Like
is that your Cantwell impression?
No, well, it's my Cantwell fanboy impersonation.
Okay,
there you go. So I think that a lot of these people, they just don't get it. It's like, it's a principle, not a hard, fast law that cannot be broken ever. It's just a
So are you defending the smelly couch? Are you defending the smelly couch on the porch?
What? No, I'm saying that sometimes. Well, I'm saying sometimes it's acceptable to break the non-aggression principle, but I don't think that that's a great example.
Well, I say this because I notice a lot of libertarians will give people, like, for example, I don't like Austin Peterson all that much, but
that's
a
libertarian, supposed libertarian candidate for president.
Give him crap because he doesn't 100% believe in the non-aggression principle.
He wants to abolish the non-aggression principle. He wants to have that removed from the Libertarian Party platform.
Hawkish idiot. Like he's one of these like warmongering fools.
Could be. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know a thing about what the guy believes. All I know is Daryl Perry, who's our co-host, who ran against him for the Libertarian Party nomination. They both lost to Gary Johnson for the presidential nomination. Daryl did not think the guy was a libertarian, and I'm sure he could go over the reasons why, because he actually spent the time to debate this dude. But go ahead.
This all came about because I had been, not only having discussions like that, but, a lot of people will pay parking tickets with like pennies and such. And somebody came up with this ridiculous argument that if the pennies fall on them and injure them, they just violated the NAP. I mean, do you think that this kind of debate and extremism as to what is aggression hurts the movement because it just keeps people apart?
I don't think that people arguing on Facebook or wherever the hell these pointless arguments are happening is doing anything to hurt the movement besides just hurting these people's ability to accomplish goals and tasks in their life and
I think
do something
Asperger's
important.
is a very serious disease.
Well, thanks. I guess I have a serious disease.
Well,
is it a disease?
It's a condition. It's not a disease.
I'm not
Sorry,
it's
a condition.
A neurological problem.
Neurological.
Yeah.
Okay.
A neurological condition.
Well, I don't think it's certainly not exclusive to libertarians, right? I mean, all kinds of people get on the internet and argue about stupid crap.
Well, that's how you recruit people now. It's a big form of media.
It's not. No, I'm sorry. I don't buy that people are being recruited by Facebook.
Ian, had the internet not existed, I would have never been introduced to libertarianism because I live in redneck, middle of the nowhere, Republican town.
Mm-hmm.
The internet is a great means.
I agree with you. The internet is great. The Facebook, on the other hand, not so great. Now, are you saying you found libertarianism through some Facebook argument?
Yes, I did.
Wow. All right.
That's how
I hate it when
it.
Facebook does something good. It just it's so bothersome to me because I find it so detestable in general.
Do you have something against Facebook?
Yeah, I do. I do.
I do just because of the drama, but I appreciate you taking my call tonight, guys.
Hey,
thanks for the
no problem. Thanks for the call tonight. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. Yeah, what I don't like about Facebook is that, sure, every now and then you find the diamond in the rough, the needle in the haystack. You find something in there that makes you feel like, there's a reason I'm on Facebook. Look at this interesting news article that I found from my friend who posted it. Or, ooh, I wouldn't have seen
and then
this.
That news article is promptly deleted because Facebook needs to censor it for some reason.
Could be. But every now and then there's some sort of gem that you find on Facebook. But for the most part, it's just trash. I mean, I've gotten to the point where I was hopelessly addicted to Facebook, just as of several months ago, and I started to limit myself on clicking the notification icon. This was the way I did it. I still go to Facebook every day, more than once a day, so I definitely am not a low user of it at all. But I'm not clicking the notifications obsessively like I once did. If I had one notification, I'd go click it. And most of the time it was nothing worth looking at. And now that I wait until I have 75, and it's actually been like days now since I've gotten 75 because I had like 70, but then for some reason I went into a group because I'll go into like the Free Talk Live AMP group or the Porcupines group, which are two of the groups that I'm an administrator of. So I feel like I should go there on a daily basis because that's what I'm expected to do as being a host of this show, right? So like I have to do that. I would go in there, and that would reduce the number of the notifications. So I wasn't even getting close to the 75. But almost every time when I click on that 75 notifications, it's almost always stuff I've already seen, useless crap, people liking things. People liking things. It's almost become a complete waste of time to even look through them. There's more coming up here in moments. Free Talk Live.
At Humalife, we believe your health is your wealth. That's why we offer an exclusive, potent, and pure selection of OMRI-certified 100% organic humic and fulvic acid concentrates. These two acids stop viruses and harmful bacteria and increase frequency, vibration, and vitality. In fact, they're called the missing link to your health. Pure liquid organic ATP energy rebuilds and regrows the immune system. You are the doctor at Humalife. You know best because you are the test. Find out more at humalifeusa.com. That's humalifeusa.com.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of slingbow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money.
There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
Money, power, and respect are all yours at creditsuccesssecretsrevealed.com. Be seen as an industry leader. You can do it. The last application you filled out when it was time to hit submit, did your nerves spike? You didn't get the approval you seek, but there's a better way. We teach you exactly what to place into the right systems the right way the first time so you get approved. Get up to $100,000 in instant business credit. Many people will get cash on the spot. Use those two tools in your new corporate credit engine so you can walk into the bank and get your project funded today. It's all about today at creditsuccesssecretsrevealed.com. Credit Success Secrets Revealed is explosive and ignites instant results. Dial 1-800-707-8719. That's 1-800-707-8719. 1-800-707-8719. Or just go to creditsuccesssecretsrevealed.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can take control of the airwaves here. You can bring up anything that you want. Our number here, 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And we do have Skype as well. Skype username, if you want to join us, is lrn.fm. If you would like, you can follow our email updates by signing up via the email sign-up box that you'll find on the front page of freetalklive.com. You get a weekly email from us to kind of keep you in the loop with what's going on with the show, the latest news that you need to know about Free Talk Live. So get signed up for those emails for free over at freetalklive.com. In fact, everything at freetalklive.com is completely free, so enjoy it. Now, to get back into the story here, Johnson, you had brought in a piece from brightside.me, and it's called 10 Mistakes That Make People Think You're Not Worth Knowing. Just a quick recap here through the list. We're, I think, through like 6 of them or so. Needless self-sacrifice, a lack of self-respect, being dependent on the approval of others, searching for the source of problems only within yourself, boasting, and a fear of rejection. Those are the ones we have gone through so far. If you missed the discussion, you can obviously go and download the show later and listen to what you missed over at freetalklive.com later tonight. But let's continue on this list. What's next?
The next one is being deaf to your own interests. And so the picture here is on the left, a girl who is getting green in the face from being on one of those swing rides that goes around and swings people. And the picture on the right of the appropriate behavior is, I'll take a photo of you having fun.
This is the girl who was sick earlier,
Right.
decided she wasn't going to go on the ride rather than trying to, make somebody else happy. She took a picture.
And other people are like, wee, okay, great.
Right. So everybody had fun. The people on the ride, she got to take pictures. She likes taking pictures, that kind of thing.
You've become accustomed to adjusting to other people's needs and find it difficult to understand what your own desires really are. You don't decide for yourself what you do. Instead, you take others' wishes for your own. This is akin to an inability to make decisions and to a taste of helplessness, and it's far from the true definition of kindness. Listen to your own desires, and don't be afraid of offending others. The chances are your fears don't really have a basis in reality, and it's always possible to find a compromise.
So to find, focus on the things that you really want to do. This is, again, kind of a retread of some of the earlier ones that...
they're a little similar. I mean, but they're all kind of... I think they're... A lot of this is the same type of behavior, and they're just... People manifest it in different ways, a lot of different things. And so this is sort of setting it specifically for each person who does the kind of very specific type of this behavior.
Got it.
Because it's like, I don't know, the first two are very, very similar, but they're slightly different, which is, the whole needless self-sacrifice versus a lack of self-respect. Those things are very similar, but they're different enough that, different types of people do those slightly different things, like not respecting themselves and not, paying attention to their own wants and needs. So the next one here is not setting a limit on what's acceptable. So this person says, are you really going to forgive him for the 138th time? He didn't want me to, but he didn't want to. Plus, it's also my fault. As the...
It's a couple sitting at a table with some coffee cups in front of them.
Yep, and then this person says, the other person, the proper behavior would be, let's go to the beach. I need to get something out of my head. It's
kind of an obscure... Yeah. I'm not sure what they're trying to communicate there.
Just, not the person wasn't forgiven. They're just forgotten about, apparently. You forgive others because it's easier to do so than to stand up for yourself. When other people show disrespect towards you, you find an excuse for them in your mind. You need to determine what you consider to be the limits of acceptable behavior, and then don't let others overstep these boundaries in relation to you. People who allow everything are not respected.
Yep, I've had this problem. I do have a tendency to forgive, and I think that's not a bad thing necessarily, but it does lead to the potential for being taken advantage of. And I will give people probably too many chances than they deserve.
Yeah.
And I don't want to get into any details about how this has happened to me recently, but it has. And I want to help people on one hand. Like, I want to give people the room to fix problems that they may have created and grow as people, and I'm willing to be flexible in those areas. But this is absolutely true. You have to have a line past which, if those people push it, you got to say no. You got to shut them down. You got to say this has gone too far, and you have to enforce that barrier.
Yeah, for sure.
And it can mean that that friendship may be damaged as a result of that, because if you say no, or you say, look, dude, you've gone too far with this, then that may make it so they don't call you anymore, or they don't want to talk to you anymore because they couldn't take advantage of you from that point forward.
But ultimately, it might be better in the long run for that person. In other words, that
if somebody sets a boundary,
those relations,
yep.
And I think, it all depends. I mean, sometimes if the boundaries are set early on, it won't damage the relationship. If you set your boundaries with people right up front, let them, or just I think what's important is to not just set boundaries, but to have clear boundaries, so that you're not just setting them and then letting someone know after the fact, but you set them up front so that they know right where your boundaries are. And that way, if they get up to those boundaries, it's like, well, that's their fault they knew what they were right in advance. The next one here is a fear of loneliness. And it shows someone, like cleaning and, in a messy house that's just a disaster. And it says, at least I'm not alone. And then the other one's like this carefree person, carefree woman who's like throwing flower petals in the air, saying, someday I'll meet someone who will respect me. For now, I'm going to enjoy my freedom. And it says, you're turning your relationship into a cult and sacrificing yourself. And what's more, you feel comfortable doing so. This may be why bullies, narcissists, and egoists gravitate towards you, because you allow yourself to be used. You don't need to choose between your relationship and your own feelings of self-worth. If you're having to make that choice, then something's wrong. Be brave and don't be afraid of change. Think of being alone as being free rather than as loneliness. And then you won't be alone for long.
Well, this comes back around to that silver rule that I talked about earlier, where if you're happy with yourself and you care and you love yourself, you're living that life that you want to live, at some point you're probably going to run into somebody or attract somebody into your life that might be a better match for you than, let's say, you just go out to some bar and latch on to some guy or gal or whatever just because you don't want to be alone, and then you end up with a bad match, but you've got somebody.
Right.
You know? This is why they make cats and dogs, right? So you don't always have to be completely alone. You can still have a thing that you can, give attention to and get attention from, but it'll never get into an argument with you.
Well, that's not always true. Especially if you're a particularly, feisty dog or,
Could be.
Could
be.
Cats.
Not every dog can be jazzy. Studio beast.
It's true. My cats sleep on me sometimes, and it's like, get off me.
But there's no doubt. I mean, so I get where they're coming from here. You should be able to be alone. You should be able to be fine with being alone, because if you're desperate for attention, if you're desperate for company, that's gonna lead you down bad roads and meeting probably the wrong people. But at the same time, people are social animals. I mean, we are people who. Most people. I mean, there's the introverts who are very they can be alone just fine, right? But then there's a lot of people. Generally, it's considered to be torture in prison when you take somebody and you put them into segregation or solitary confinement, because humans are social animals, and we at some point in our lives we need to have contact with other people, or else you end up like Scott the bigot.
Right.
Living in his mom's house, which I guess technically he's not alone.
Yeah. Well, the last one.
We'll get into it.
Gonna sell it. Okay.
We'll get into it here. The final one on the list here, and you can share your thoughts with us here as well on the 10 mistakes that make people think you're not worth knowing. How can you be a better person, be a better you? The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And this is Free Talk Live. Oh, yeah, and you can Skype in at Skype username LRN.FM.
Do you want to help build a better financial system for everyone? Join Dash. Dash is Digital Cash, a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast and easy. Fees are low and transactions are confirmed instantly. Dash is decentralized, run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Help people take control over their financial future today. Find out more at dash.org.
Imagine, if you will, a virtual world, a symbiotic economy with its own currency, where you can barter your services with others. Symbi.com is a marketplace of real people exchanging skills and services, from web developers, marketers, video production specialists, and teachers of all sorts, to gaming consulting or fitness coaching. Symbi.com is a vast world of people trading freely. Take my word for it, it's an adventure you can't afford to miss. Simbi.com.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business, so make sure that they create a positive impression with ReputationDefender.com. What the internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with ReputationDefender.com. Call 800-831-0771 now. That's 800-831-0771 for your free reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with ReputationDefender.com. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-831-0771 to learn more. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Or visit ReputationDefender.com.
Understanding your credit score is the first step towards managing and improving it. This is Charlie Sundstrom with your Van Dyke Mortgage Minute. The most influential component of your credit score is your payment history. Almost equally as important is the amount you owe on credit accounts. Also impacting your score, but to a lesser degree, are the length of time you've utilized your credit, the number of new accounts, credit inquiries, and your various types of credit accounts. To help achieve or maintain a healthy credit score, have a system set up to assure your bills are always paid on time. Don't max out your cards. It's better to have a high credit limit with a low balance. Never close old accounts. The age of these can actually help your credit score. But don't be afraid to use your credit. You need several accounts in order to have a credit score. Just keep the corresponding payments within your means. For your mortgage pre-approval and refi needs, start by visiting VanDykeMortgage.com.
Corporate NMLS 3035. Van Dyke Mortgage is an equal housing lender. Charlie Sundstrom, NMLS 134251.
DVD, books, music, instruments, periodicals, computers, software, electronics, photo, cell phones, office products, home and garden, bed and bath, furniture, kitchen, pet supplies, automotive, hardware, apparel, shoes, jewelry, grocery, healthcare, sports and outdoors, toys, games, used, and more. It's a department store at your fingertips. Shop.freetalklive.com. Get all your shopping done, get a great deal, and a portion of your purchase goes to benefit Free Talk Live when you enter Amazon via shop.freetalklive.com.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at survivormax.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Dial in toll-free and bring up anything you want. We're talking about some ideas that might help some folks out there. I think everybody can do a little self-improvement, even if you think you're just perfect, which of course might be one of the problems. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE if you want to join us, 855-450-3733. It's Ian and Johnson in the studio here. If, by the way, you want to help support the things that we do, spreading the ideas of liberty and freedom and peace and cryptocurrency and things like that, then you can actually get behind the LRN.FM Patreon, which I don't talk enough about. You go to fund.lrn.fm, F-U-N-D, fund.lrn.fm. It's $2 a month is the request that we're asking. You can obviously give more if you feel so inclined, but it helps LRN.fm, which is our little internet network that also is available on satellite in two different parts of the world. There's North and Central America, and then there's also Sub-Saharan Africa, where our satellite signal exists. This is a way to directly support that satellite fund, to put some money into the satellites to make sure that they continue on. It's a way for people that value getting the ideas of liberty outside of just the United States. I mean, we've got 170 great radio stations that air us here in the U.S., but shouldn't the rest of the world also get to hear the ideas of liberty? If you think that's worth $2 a month to get the Free Talk Live and the dozens of other liberty-oriented shows, podcasts, and live shows that we have on LRN.FM into people's ears around the globe, then please, you can get behind that fundraiser and get some access to some Patreon-only stuff, which basically is me just kind of posting every now and then. You can go to, and I probably should do more of it, but go to fund.lrn.fm. At its base level, it's a way for you to support the satellite feeds that we have. So if you think the value of reaching new ears around the globe is worth a few cents a day, then please go to fund.lrn.fm. So Johnson, the final entry in the list of 10 mistakes that people make that make people think you're not worth knowing.
You don't need to choose between your relationship and your own feelings of self-worth.
Oh, wait, this was the previous.
Oh, I'm sorry. Nah, that's it. That is the previous.
Okay.
Sorry. It is. They put the bold text in very weird places in this article. Believing that respect needs to be earned. And this is an interesting one because it's like, I kind of feel like it does a little bit, but the graphic here is, I can't be in your debt. Let me get the door. It's a guy who's opening a door for a woman, and she's like, I can't let you, I can't owe you.
As though somebody's keeping track.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, like I can't owe you. Let me get my own door.
I open doors for total strangers. You know, like.
Yeah. So, and the other one is like
being kind.
Please, after you, and he's opening the door, and she's like, wink, thanks. Like whatever.
She just showed her appreciation. That's all.
Yeah.
You don't have to, take score of how many times people are doing nice things for you, or vice versa.
If he opens the door for me, I'm gonna have to open it for him the next time.
Yeah.
Or,
do people really trouble themselves over this?
Who knows? There are probably some people.
There must be.
They're neurotic, or
or
they just
maybe they just can't handle an act of kindness,
Maybe.
because they feel like they've all of a sudden become obligated by somebody
Right.
doing something nice for them, that they must all of a sudden,
The
do
score's
the
always got to
equivalent.
be even with everyone. It's
Strange.
weird. Yeah. You don't accept the fact that respect doesn't have to be the result of actions or behavior. You don't feel comfortable when your relationship with someone is of equals because you're firmly convinced that respect has to be earned. You feel that a person has value only if they've given something back. You don't need to buy love or respect. Learn to simply love and be loved unconditionally, as easily as breathing.
Yeah,
That's
I tend to agree with that, especially when it comes to respect. I tend to respect other people as human beings and know that we're all ultimately at the basic level the same. And I think that people should be given respect just by virtue of the fact that they're people, unless, of course, they prove that they are scum, in which case, you don't really have to spend any time on that person. So I think my rule is to kind of respect by default until they've shown some reason that is something that about them that is incredibly distasteful or disrespectful, in which case just don't spend time on that person.
Yeah, I mean, my problem is that, I do have a little bit of the Scott the Bigot belief, and not that I hate all people, but I do kind of feel like there are a lot of people out there that hold beliefs that I don't particularly care for.
Sure.
So, I tend to go with, people are stupid. It's like the George Carlin kind of misanthropy of, like hating that, there are a lot of just dumb people out there, and so I definitely kind of subscribe to that philosophy, and of course that makes it hard to respect people. If you think there are people out there with these dumb beliefs, it makes it hard to respect them and respect their ideas. And I don't believe that all ideas are equal or deserving of respect.
That's
but
true.
Ideas can be separated from people.
Right. That's a good point. You can still respect that somebody's a human, even though we know that humans, including ourselves, are flawed, which means that those humans can hold flawed ideas, and we can not respect the idea, but we can still respect that this person probably, even though they don't have the right ideas, shouldn't be tortured as a result of that, or, that if they have some issues in their lives, that's their problem, and, it doesn't have to transfer over to you. So, even though you may not like everybody, that's okay. You don't have to like everybody to have a healthy respect of they're just another person like you.
I think that's also a great inoculation against racism too, being protected, from becoming racist, and understanding that everyone's an individual, and understanding that ideas and culture and whatnot can be separated from the people.
That's right.
From individuals. So. If you believe in individualism and you are able to separate ideas and people, then you're going to understand that not everyone's going to believe the same things, and that people are not necessarily one set of cultural beliefs or one set of ideas might not necessarily be universal to that person. Like what a particular group might believe might not be true of that particular person. Just because somebody might believe one thing does not mean that they believe, maybe they believe A and B, but they don't believe C, or
there was
et cetera.
Yeah. There was a discussion on the Free Talk Live AMP group on Facebook over the last 24, 48 hours. People are talking about Christopher Cantwell. And this, as we mentioned earlier, he's a racist, a former co-host on Free Talk Live. We kicked him off after we found out that he was a racist. But one thing you got to hand to Chris Cantwell is that he's got people talking about him. They're not saying nice things for the most part, but they are talking about him, and that's one of the things that he likes. He wants it when
I actually have to say I've been fairly disgusted with a lot of the Liberty folk who are celebrating violence done against him. I mean, it's like
really,
like laughing about it and whatever, and it's like
Well, there is something to be said for the juxtaposition of Chris in the striking pose where he's like wide stance, one hand he's got, it's his profile picture on Facebook right now. He's pepper
spraying somebody in the face.
He's pepper spraying some guy directly in the face. The picture was taken at the exact time the spray is actually coming out and contacting the dude's face. So it's actually a really good photo of an action shot. But then there's also, he got tear gassed later apparently. So
and it shows
he
a picture
pepper
of him on the ground crying.
Right. So, I mean, there's something to be said for that juxtaposition there of, I agree with you, Johnson. I don't think that people should engage in schadenfreude, which is to say that you would get pleasure from the pain of others.
Right.
I think there's something wrong with that. And certainly that's what you're talking about here. People are getting pleasure from somebody who has a distasteful opinion being in pain.
Right.
And none of us would want to be pepper sprayed or tear gassed or anything like that. But that, if anything, is definitely an example of instant karma, right? Like Chris pepper sprayed somebody and then within the same evening also had tear gas deployed on him. Now, he would say that he was being attacked or his friends were being attacked and he was simply engaging in self-defense.
They're attacking my statue of Robert E. Lee.
Or whatever it is.
Whatever.
And he did say
it.
that.
Yeah.
And he did say that. But the fact is, he was there. He knew he was getting into a situation where there was likely going to be some kind of violence, some kind of conflict. He said they wanted to keep things peaceful, but come on. I mean, we know a lot of these guys went there itching for a fight, and that's true on both sides. It's true of the Antifa or anti-fascist group that was there, and then it's true of the white supremacists that were there as well. They gave each other exactly what they wanted.
I'm sure if anybody had a private conversation with him beforehand, it would have been like, "Yeah, I'm going down there to destroy some leftists," like
something like
that. It would have been, for sure.
So I don't know where I was going with all that, but you're welcome to comment here. The toll-free number. Oh yeah, it was a conversation. Toll-free number 855-450 free. The conversation was about Chris Cantwell and how detestable he is, because it's easy for people to look at Chris and his opinions and say this is a horrible person, and the things that he says are absolutely horrible things, and there's no doubt about that. So people are bewildered as to why I would still call this guy my friend. And it's upsetting to some people. In fact, some people were saying that they don't want to even associate with anyone who would associate with Chris Cantwell. And I gave an example of why I still do that, because I want to try to model peace and love towards everyone, even those who are despicable. There's more coming up here. It's Free Talk Live. Have you wanted to get into Bitcoin mining but don't want to deal with the hassle and frustration of operating the mining hardware? Let pool.bitcoin.com handle it for you like I did. For an investment of as low as $129, you can have a lifetime mining contract and support the Bitcoin network. If you already have mining equipment, you're invited to join pool.bitcoin.com. It's the most profitable pool for miners, paying 120% of the block reward. That's pool.bitcoin.com.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com. I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com. The 3 most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share 1 episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Tuesday, August 15th, 2017. Silver is trading at $16.82 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,273 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 4.1 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $4,102. Antiwar.com reports web hosting company DreamHost issued a statement on their website on Monday revealing that they have been served with a search warrant by the Department of Justice, which is seeking information about visitors to an anti-Trump website they host. The targeted website is disruptj20.org, which is involved in anti-Trump public protest, and the demands for materially all data on the site is related to the putative involvement in the protest against President Trump's inauguration in January. This includes all data on communications and funding of the website, as well as all 1.3 million IP addresses of everyone who ever visited the website, along with any contact information identifying those readers of the site. This is a virtually unprecedented public demand for data, doubly concerning since it appears the demands are based purely on the potential political beliefs of the end users because of the content they've read. DreamHost is arguing that the warrant violates the Fourth Amendment and is resisting the efforts to give up the broad collection of data. The DOJ has yet to offer any statement related to the revelation of the warrant, let alone offered any defense for trying to amass the identities of 1.3 million Americans with anti-Trump political leanings. Making the matter public may well end up killing it off, as the warrant is such a huge overreach and such a troubling invasion of privacy that any Justice Department legal argument is sure to be skewered in the press. Indeed, that such warrants would necessarily be an outrage to the public is a big reason why other surveillance-related warrants have tended to be issued covertly by secret courts, and why in the past the government has warned those served with such warrants from disclosing them to anyone. The goal of such efforts is always a lot more far-reaching than just the individual targets at the time, despite 1.3 million people already being a pretty substantial target. Rather, the long-term goal is to create legal precedents for such demands, allowing the DOJ to make such plainly unreasonable demands a routine matter of course, giving them endless access to the identity of potential targets. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports big box retailer Target announced on Monday it will acquire software startup Grand Junction to better compete with Amazon and Walmart in local deliveries, including same-day delivery. San Francisco-based Grand Junction connects retailers and other distributors to more than 700 carriers across North America and, according to Target, currently handles same-day deliveries for Target stores in Manhattan's Tribeca neighborhood. Arthur Valdez, Target's chief supply chain and logistics officer and a former Amazon executive, said on a blog post, Target will have immediate access to Grand Junction's technology and carrier network, which will accelerate the work we're doing to improve our speed of delivery. It will also boost our ability to offer new services like same-day delivery and even assembly and installation to our guests. Target, which has about 1,800 physical stores, plans to expand same-day services to other New York City stores by October and to additional U.S. cities early next year. The retailer did not disclose terms to acquire Grand Junction, which has 13 employees and was founded in 2014. Grand Junction coordinates about 6 million local deliveries a month, but will drop service to CVS and Office Depot. Target recently launched next-day delivery of household items called Target Restock in its home market of Minneapolis. It also has worked with Instacart for same-day grocery delivery in some markets. Target's online sales grew 22% in the first quarter of this year. Walmart's growth was 63% in the first quarter of this year after acquiring bulk retailer Jet.com for $3.3 billion. Amazon's Prime service already lets members in about 30 metropolitan areas receive orders as quickly as 1 hour. Michael Lasser, an analyst at USB Group AG, told Bloomberg, "There's clearly an arms race going on from the mass merchant, recognizing that getting everyday essentials in the hands of customers is critical. The purchase of Grand Junction should help Target compete on these terms in a more economical fashion." This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
According to a report released today, the vast majority of American children lack the presence of a strong, sculpted male supermodel, with less than 4% of youngsters being taught the important values of respecting runway etiquette, maintaining a glistening six-pack, and walking a catwalk with verve and flair.
The number of strong-jawed male supermodels in children's lives has declined to record lows, leaving the majority of our youth unaware of how to get comfortable in front of the camera during an underwear shoot or even perform something as simple as a sexy but stylish full turn.
Stanton went on to say that impoverished communities were especially affected by the lack of Adonis-like male figures, and added that children in lower-class homes were over 80% less likely to grow into the type of high-cheekboned, studly he-men that succeed in haute couture society.
Quite frankly, these children are just not getting the necessary influence of a dynamic male supermodel who can both make puppy dog eyes at the camera and also radiate that sort of raw, unabashed machismo that forces fashionistas to look up and take notice.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live. You can join us on the radio waves and bring up anything that you want. Our number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And we've got Skype as well, so feel free to Skype on in here at username LRN.FM. Joining you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Johnson.
Now, of course, you can bring up anything that's on your mind. That is kind of the point here of Free Talk Live. There's an interesting piece, well, an outrageous piece over at USA Today that I've been holding on to for a few days here that I wanted to share. It is from the Prohibitionists. As you know, as we've reported here on Free Talk Live, multiple states now, I believe 8 of them, have legalization schemes in place for cannabis. One of them is Colorado. That was one of the first 2 states, Colorado and Washington, and this is coming out of Colorado. Jeff Hunt is the opinion contributor here at USA Today. Headline: Marijuana devastated Colorado.
Okay.
Don't legalize it nationally, he says. Arrests are up. We still have a black market, and people are in danger. Last week, Senator Cory Booker introduced the Marijuana Justice Act in an effort to legalize marijuana across the nation and penalize local communities that want nothing to do with this dangerous drug. You know, just this headline and the sensationalism made me wonder if I was reading The Onion or something like that. But no, this is really USA Today.
Right.
This apparently actually appeared in that newspaper. Going on, he says...
Fake news.
Yeah, no kidding. This is the furthest reaching marijuana legalization effort to date and marks another sad moment in our nation's embrace of a drug that will have generational consequences. Dude, I got news for you. Marijuana's been used for generations while it was illegal in the United States. He says our country is facing a drug epidemic. Legalizing recreational marijuana will do nothing that Senator Booker expects. We heard many of these same promises in 2012 when Colorado legalized recreational marijuana. In the years since, Colorado has seen an increase in marijuana-related traffic deaths, poison control calls, and emergency room visits. The marijuana black market has increased in Colorado, not decreased, and numerous Colorado marijuana regulators have been indicted for corruption. So there's a lot to take in just that one paragraph. A lot of claims about... Of course, a lot of people are afraid of, well, if we legalize marijuana, then everybody's just going to be smoking and driving. And then he says here that there's this increase in marijuana-related traffic deaths.
And they have these ridiculous things where it's like, this is what it's like to drive while on marijuana. It's like, I don't know if you've ever seen some of these reports, and it's like, put on this helmet that's mirrors facing behind your head. That's what it's like to drive on marijuana. It's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, I know all kinds of people who have driven on cannabis, and they've been fine. In fact, studies have shown that cannabis using drivers in many cases are actually safer than non-cannabis using drivers. Certainly far safer than alcohol using drivers. And that's because the cannabis user has the ability to know that they're impaired. The cannabis user is, if they are to the point of impairment, because a lot of times, you can drive fine, but the cannabis user, if they've had too much, they know they've had too much. Whereas the alcoholic, in many cases, is completely oblivious to the fact that they can't operate a 2,000-pound or more motor vehicle, a death trap. But the claim here is that marijuana-related traffic deaths have gone up. And I'm sure that if you asked, he could find some statistic to make that claim. But what does it mean to be a marijuana-related traffic death? The thing with these prohibitionists is you've got to be very careful with the claims that they make. They have an interest, and that is to re-prohibit marijuana. This guy wants to turn things around. He wants Colorado to make this illegal again. So it's in his interest to use whatever kind of skewed studies he can find or manipulate the numbers in whatever way he possibly can. A marijuana-related traffic death is the same thing as an alcohol-related traffic death in that it sounds as though you're talking about somebody who was drinking and driving or smoking and driving, and then they, crashed headfirst into a car of teenagers and people died. Now, while it's not impossible that something like that could have happened, when it says marijuana-related, that means that some sort of accident happened in which somebody died. Someone within that accident situation, whether it's the person who died, the person who crashed, the person who was in the car with the person who crashed, the person who was crashed into, the passengers in that car, somebody had some marijuana on them. Or marijuana was found in the back seat, on the floor.
Well, I think if somebody has marijuana on them when they're driving, they should be executed.
I'm sure there are people that believe that, and I suspect this guy probably would take up that particular viewpoint. But the point I'm making is that it doesn't matter whether the driver was, was under the influence.
Right.
It's a marijuana-related traffic fatality as long as someone in the car had some marijuana or admitted to having used marijuana in the past. Doesn't even mean the driver did it.
Right.
So again, be very careful with these claims here. Poison control calls, emergency room visits. He says there's been an increase in these things. Now, again, we don't know exactly what that means. Does that mean that someone went to the emergency room for some reason and reported, because now it's not illegal to have marijuana?
Right, exactly.
So a lot of times if you went to the emergency room before, maybe you were feeling ill for some reason, you went to the emergency room, the doctor asks you, have you done any, drugs tonight, son, or whatever? Have you been drinking? Some people might say no, even though they did, because they didn't want the doctor to know that they were using an illegal substance, maybe under the belief that the doctor would be obligated to report that to the police. Now, whether that belief was true or not is another question, but, drug users are notoriously paranoid about these things, and for good reason. Nobody wants to go to jail if they can avoid it.
I think one thing that may be positive that's come of legalization, though, that would result in increased hospitalizations is, I think, and again, who knows to know whether or not this is even legitimate or not. I'm leaning towards it actually being legitimate, that there's some kind of a medical condition that it comes from extremely regular usage of marijuana, like really, really high doses. And it probably varies per person of how much they can tolerate. But I guess there's some sort of disease where it causes people to just vomit a whole lot.
Whoa.
They get some sort of, it's some sort of condition where it's, they just get really, really sick to their stomach. It's like some really abdominal problem condition.
Okay.
That
sounds unusual.
From years of like extreme daily usage, like really heavy daily usage of marijuana can result in this horrible condition. And, people take it as a pain and then they smoke more and it doesn't help. And basically the only way to get rid of it is to stop smoking.
Right.
And, it takes a lot of people a while to kind of figure this out. And that's the only condition that could potentially result in someone maybe dying from marijuana or having a problem.
Oh, yeah.
But it's not really dying from marijuana. It's dying from vomiting and, like
choking on your own vomit or something
like that. But,
people don't die from marijuana. That doesn't happen.
That's coming out now because, people are able to say, yeah, I'm a regular user, and they're able to actually report on it.
Right. And so, I don't buy that marijuana is any more dangerous or anything like that. I mean, millions of people have used cannabis for decades, in their lives, and they've done it safely. It's really, we've talked about the medical uses for cannabis here on Free Talk Live, and the medical users, their stories are so persuasive and so, I think, important for people to understand. This really is a miracle drug. Yeah, some people are just using it to get high, but others are using it for really legitimate medical purposes. And it's not causing a problem if somebody's just smoking it to get high. If they're sitting on their front porch or wherever it is they are, standing outside of the restaurant that they work at, and they're smoking a joint, that's not putting anybody in danger, right. And people should be free to make those choices, even if you believe it's a bad choice. Maybe for some people it is. that's still the individual's choice to make. Let's go to your calls and thoughts here. Cody is in Keene, New Hampshire. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Cody.
Hey, Ian.
Hey.
I love talking about, marijuana versus alcohol. And I've had enough experience to say that most of my bad decisions have come from drinking alcohol and not from smoking marijuana.
Yeah, absolutely. Hang on, Cody. If you got more to hold that thought. We're gonna bring it back here. More with Cody, and this is Cody O'Connor from Off the Air Live. We'll continue here in moments. 855 450 free like freedom. You can comment as well. Free Talk Live.
Warning: if you're drowning in debt you can't afford, do not let the credit card companies trick you into thinking that you have to pay it all back, because you don't. What the credit card companies don't want you to know is that there's actually a way to get debt-free without paying off your entire debt or going bankrupt. If you have $5,000 or more in credit card debt, you now have the right to let us settle that debt for a fraction of what you owe. For free information, call Credit Associates now. 1-800-957-9489. We'll even show you how much money you could save. If you can't afford to pay off all your debt, do not let the credit card companies trick you into thinking that you have to. Call Credit Associates now for free information on how to get debt-free faster than you ever thought possible without debt consolidation or bankruptcy. We depend on your success and offer a guarantee, so there's no risk. For free information, call now. 1-800-957-9489. That's 1-800-957-9489. 1-800-957-9489.
Welcome aboard. Your new science fiction adventure is ready to launch. Discover an amazing journey at GalaxyQuestBooks.com. Start a new sci-fi adventure with the Guardian series, a classic sci-fi mystery that starts 500 years in the future. From author D. Arthur Gussner. Series available from Barnes & Noble or Amazon as paperback or ebooks. GalaxyQuestBooks.com, where the adventure begins.
Do you trust our economy? How about our banking system? Our president has stated we are sitting on a bubble right now, and that when the Fed raises interest rates, bad things are going to happen. Well, the Fed is raising rates here and now. There has never been a better time to turn your IRA or 401k into physical gold or silver with GSI Exchange. Call 833-GSI-GOLD. GSI
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com. Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster, so be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com. Ross Ulbricht was convicted in early 2015 of running the infamous Silk Road Underground Market. The Silk Road was a gift to humanity and helped reduce the harms brought on by drug prohibition. For this good deed, Ross has been sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Now, an appeal is Ross's only chance, and he needs your support. Please visit freeross.org, where you can contribute via various methods, including Bitcoin. Visit freeross.org. That's freeross.org.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can dial in toll-free, 855-450-FREE, like freedom, 855-450-3733. We've got Skype as well. The Skype username here is LRN.FM. So don't forget, you can join us on the radio and talk about anything that you want to discuss. With you in the studio tonight, you've got Ian.
And Johnson.
Also, you don't need money to do business on Simbi.com. It's a slick and easy-to-use marketplace where you can trade your talents for other people's services and abilities. You can forget the old economy. This is your economy. At Simbi.com, you won't believe the diversity of services available on Simbi.com. Hundreds of thousands of people are acting within the symbiotic economy, so go get your account at Simbi.com and take a look around and post your services. SIMBI, Simbi.com. Cody O'Connor with us on the line in Keene, New Hampshire. He's the host of Off the Air Live, offtheairlive.com. It's the Saturday night show here on on our little internet network, LRN.FM. Cody, you were calling in about the marijuana alcohol discussion we have just started to have here with this prohibitionist in Colorado claiming marijuana legalization's a total failure and saying people shouldn't do it. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, is that I will readily admit that I've made mistakes in my life, but those mistakes were never made while smoking marijuana. Usually when I smoke marijuana, I'm a relatively paranoid guy as it is, but if I smoke marijuana, usually I'm like holding up in my bedroom afraid for my life.
Wow.
If I'm
that doesn't sound like much
alcohol,
fun.
However, no. I mean, sometimes I have a good time, depends on, my mood or whatever, but if I'm drinking alcohol, I'm more likely to be like, yeah, I can drive wherever I want to go. Doesn't matter. It just takes away any sort of thought in my mind that would go, hey, maybe this is a bad idea. So I keep going, and all of a sudden I end up drunk, naked, in a bathtub, puking all over myself.
I've seen it.
And it usually doesn't end well. I know you have. That's why I brought it up. But that was not from marijuana, though.
No, it wasn't.
That happened from drinking alcohol. That is a
maybe
big
I
difference.
can't drive, but after I do a few lines of Adderall and maybe some Coke, I'll be okay.
Oh, Adderall makes driving much more better. Drinking, not so much.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
I will say Adderall should be readily available to anybody without a prescription. It is an amazing substance.
Yeah, I don't have much experience with it, but I can't disagree with you on the alcohol and cannabis thing. And I actually just recently gave up alcohol again about 2.5 weeks ago. I was doing it. I was drinking maybe 2 cups of wine every night, so it wasn't going overboard or anything like that. It wasn't ever losing consciousness, just a little getting a little tipsy. But I just kind of felt like it was weighing me down, and it wasn't. It was time for a break, and so I've called it quits. I don't know how long I'm going to take a break.
You get those resveratrol pills instead. You can keep getting the red wine benefits. Resveratrol? It's a substance known in red wine that's to help you keep mental clarity and reduce the speed at which you age. It's known to be very, very effective at this. It's like
So you're saying drinking wine's supposed to make you mentally clear?
The compounds found in the skin of the grape,
I see,
is where the resveratrol comes from, and it actually helps to slow the aging process, which includes mental aging.
Don't the doctors on TV always talk about how wine is healthy, then it's bad for you, and it's healthy again?
Yeah, it depends who you ask. I know I've seen some winos who don't look particularly healthy or in good shape, so I think all things in moderation, perhaps.
I want to add too, like, I really, really do believe, and listen, this is coming from me. I'm still a drinker, like not as much as I was. I do believe alcohol is probably one of the worst drugs that you can be addicted to. And I'm saying that compared to painkillers, methamphetamine, marijuana. I don't care what you're talking about. I think alcohol is probably one of the worst ones that you could actually be addicted to. And it's completely legal.
Yeah, I think that's true. If you look at I think it was Professor David Nutt, which is a great last name, but N-U-T-T, out of the United Kingdom. He used to work for the drug czar, or whatever the equivalent office is over in the UK. In fact, he was like the drug czar or something. And then at some point, I don't know what happened. I don't know his personal story, but he came to the side of sanity, the side of good, became against prohibition, and he came out with a chart that is very interesting. It shows the relative harm of a drug, different drugs, and it shows their harm to the individual, and then it shows their harm to society. Right. And it sort of brings both of those harms together for a total level of harm for each drug. And alcohol and heroin were, I believe it was 1 and 2, or maybe it was the reverse, but they were very, very close and very, very strong at the top of the list of the most dangerous drugs. Cannabis, LSD, MDMA were much lower down that list, but it basically put alcohol right up there with heroin.
I think it was psilocybin mushrooms maybe that were at the very, very bottom of the list as far as least dangerous drugs.
Yeah,
because it's a natural thing. And it's the natural things that.
Well, natural things will kill you too. I mean, there's some berries out there that you should not eat, from what I understand.
Oh yeah. Not every mushroom is good for you.
Right.
I'll make that clear. Steer very clear away from the white ones. They will end your life. But some of them, they'll give you a life-changing experience.
I don't know. I like white mushrooms that you buy at the grocery store. The button caps.
Well, the thing with mushrooms is there are many different kinds. Many different kinds of mushrooms out there, and if you don't know what you're doing, you shouldn't do anything about mushrooms. The average person who enjoys psychedelic mushrooms would not be able to identify them if they were growing in the wild.
Oh yeah.
Right, yeah.
There's a lot of advanced tests.
Exactly. Not very many people are mycologists, I believe it is. The white ones that I'm thinking of, they're big and tall. They're called like angel. It's like the angel of death or something.
That sounds lovely.
Yeah, they call it something really crazy.
Cody, thanks for sharing your thoughts. Anything else you want to throw out there tonight?
No, just good to talk to you guys.
All right, I appreciate it. Cody O'Connor from offtheairlive.com. Thanks for the call tonight. Let's go to Jay. Also, I believe this is Jay Noon calling from Colorado. Am I right about that?
You are right about that,
All right. What's up? What's on your mind, Jay?
Well, you're just this Prohibitionist was talking. I kind of wonder how invested in the liquor industry he is. Cause
good question.
They're literally whining out here. I've heard it like 4 times now that Coors is having the worst sales in Colorado in like decades.
Wow.
So they're having a Rocky Mountain Low?
I guess. I mean, this is just the guys in here whining, because actually there's a couple of guys that worked for my stepdad actually got laid off from Coors a little while ago. And, these guys are kind of crying about it. But I met a former county deputy sheriff about a trailer off him yesterday, and he retired a few years ago and was going to California actually quite often, kind of living there because he had a medical card. He had arthritis so bad he took an early retirement because of arthritis, and this guy was in like a motorcycle wreck years ago, and his arthritis stemmed. But he basically said that he could still be a police officer if, or he never would have took early retirement if he had found marijuana years ago, because it takes care of his arthritis pain. He's a huge pro-legalization advocate now.
I love that. Jay, hang on. If you have more, you can share it. Otherwise, thanks for the call. Appreciate it. There's more coming up here, and you can join us at 855-450-FREE. Like freedom, it's Free Talk Live.
Is that Ellen painting her garage?
Yesterday, she was trimming her hedges.
What's her secret?
I heard she was eating this new superberry called the Aronia berry.
Aronia what?
Aronia berries from superberries.com. They're known for having one of the highest levels of antioxidants that helps with overall wellness.
Where can we get them?
Go to superberries.com/radio. And right now, we get a free smoothie recipe book with our order. Plus, we can save $4 at checkout.
I can't wait. I've got lots of projects I need to get done.
Yes, you do.
Choose health. Eat purple. Superberries.com.
If there's a toxic chemical, biological, gas, smoke emergency while traveling, at home, or on your job, are you protected? Are you prepared? There are over 400,000 fires in the USA every year. Up to 85% of all deaths in a fire are due to smoke inhalation. 3 minutes without air, and we as humans will die. Be prepared and escape safely with our Safe Escape Smoke Hoods, giving you up to 60 minutes of breathable air protection. Order yours online at ase-safety.com. That's ase-safety.com. And get up to 40% off, plus free shipping.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com. For years, LRN.FM has had a listen line that you can call and listen to LRN.FM anytime. Now we're taking the idea to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on-demand line. You can call 641-793-9660 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed, and you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long-distance fees may apply. Just dial 641-793-9660 and choose from the menu. 641-793-9660. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Free Talk Live. You dial toll-free, take control of the airwaves. We're talking about drug prohibition, specifically that prohibition of cannabis, because, to actually advocate for other drugs to be removed from prohibition at this point, we're not even to that point yet. So we're still here in the United States arguing with these prohibitionists over cannabis, the most benign drug you could possibly imagine. Of course, here on Free Talk Live, we want to see all drug prohibition ended so people can be free to make their own choices with their own body and suffer whatever consequences come from making those choices. And as Cody was pointing out earlier in his call, the consequences from drinking alcohol, which is, of course, a completely legal drug for people under the age, or over the age of 21, can be very, very tremendous, can be life-altering, life-ending consequences, but yet that's completely legal. But this person in the USA Today article is just haranguing the cannabis legalization. He's saying that it's been an abject failure, even though the state has brought in big-time revenue from cannabis in Colorado. It's become a real tourist attraction, and everybody we've talked to has said it's been an absolute success. But of course, this is coming from a prohibitionist, so we'll continue with his ridiculous opinions here in moments. We got Jay on the line here. He's Jay Noon, who has done some Wednesday night co-hosting with us. He won't be here this week because he's in Colorado, but he's on the phones. Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, I should be back in 2 weeks.
All right.
But this retired sheriff's deputy, he was going on and on about how he might even actually be listening tonight because I told him about the show. And he was going on about how like heroin use is tremendously down since the legalization.
Really?
And this is what he was telling me, and so he was saying how but I mean, if people can aren't getting into heroin because they're because they can do other things without any problem, and just like if there's if it has to be such a black market, you got to go. Usually, you're buying marijuana from the same guy that's selling coke, heroin, or whatever.
A lot of times.
And and so he's usually he wants to sell more expensive stuff too, or he wants to sell everything. And but the one thing I've noticed, the biggest thing is that I've been going to libertarian gatherings and parties and type festivals for pretty much my entire adult life. And out here in Colorado, I lived here for a little over 2 years, and I would go to all these, even the Liberty on the Rocks I went to, very few people were actually drinking, and that was in a bar.
Huh.
And because they would, their guys would bring edibles and pass them around, and little gummies and stuff, and people would be have vaporizers, and even like the house parties I go to that were put on by libertarians, there was very, very little drinking, and very little like I noticed like at a lot of the get-togethers when people start drinking, they start arguing about you're not as libertarian enough, or you're not.
Are you saying that libertarians don't argue if they don't drink? I don't know if I buy that.
No, that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is they debate. It doesn't turn really into like yelling and screaming, and it's like more. It just seems to me more like intellectual debate. More discussion.
I see.
I mean, yeah, you're still going to have your whiners no matter what. They're going to cry about whatever. But I've just noticed that the vibe is just a lot more friendly, a lot more loving. With the marijuana user crowd versus the alcohol user crowd.
Yep.
That's true. I mean, these guys that all the guys out here in Colorado that like, oh, these dope heads, they're gonna destroy Colorado, and well, it's made such a huge industry. Actually, some of the farmers are a little annoyed they can't find any help because, well, you got the oil field, and you also got the growers out here. In fact, I just drove by a field the other day. It's like 180 acres, and it's all hemp plants. And it looks just, hemp and weeds, the same thing. I'm going to take a picture of it maybe tomorrow and post it. But yeah, just awesome to see out here. It's just right by a major highway.
So it's your belief then, as somebody who's spent time out in Colorado in the last few years, that marijuana, according to this article's opinion, Jeff Hunt, who writes that it has devastated Colorado, you would say that is far from the truth.
That is far from the truth because everywhere out here you go, there's help wanted signs. I've seen a help wanted sign at a Burger King, and they're starting people at $12.50 an hour at a Burger King. And anybody who wants to go work in a trimming operation, they're paying people $15 or $20 an hour cash just to get them there. And
they sit there and they clip. They sit there and they trim leaves off of the marijuana flowers, and that's what their job is.
Yep. I mean, my mom is a lunch lady, and what she does as a second job is she's a trimmer, and a couple of her friends. And it's hilarious. She just does it. She gets paid cash. She works however many. They're so desperate for help that because it's just gotten so big here and they can do it that and amazing. Even like when they first started, they had all this like felony stuff and background checks, and they just pretty much are hiring anybody who wants to show up and do the job now because.
Wow, that's incredible.
They need helpers.
Do they get to smoke as much weed as they want while they're doing the job, or do they have to be straight edge while they're doing it?
So I don't know that answer. I mean, I know they can't like grab it and stuff, and they're not supposed to like take trimmings home, and they have a contract with like there's a little organic hog grower out here. Mark's gonna love this, but they pretty much feed the pigs a whole bunch of marijuana trimmings. So that guy's got like the contract. The one place I'm familiar with, it all goes to this little like pig farm.
That's great. So they're really using every aspect of the plant. They're using even the clippings, which normally would just get chucked out or whatever.
Yep, feed them to the pigs. So you got marijuana glazed ham. And I was in a Home Depot here the other day getting some things. I had to drive to 3 Home Depots to get the exact tool I needed. in the area, and everyone I went to, the Home Depot, is just busy. The parking lots are full, and you can't find any help. And the one manager I'm talking to, I'm like, hey, what's the, you guys just need to up your ante on the pay. It's just the way economics works. He goes, no, people want to work here. He says, but as soon as we tell them that they have to pass a urine test and they have to be marijuana free, they just laugh and walk away. They'll get a job somewhere else. So
great.
I
think that's great news. That means that means you're going to see changes in drug testing policy, because if there's so much work elsewhere, and Home Depot has a drug testing policy, and they're losing out on what would otherwise be good employees, because marijuana users are by and large responsible people who they pay their bills, they take care of their families, they do what they got to do. If they're going somewhere else saying, well, screw you, I don't want to work here if you're going to test me, then that eventually Home Depot corporate's going to have to look at that and say, hey, look, we can get better workers if we eliminate this drug test, and it'll be cheaper, because they got to pay for those tests. Whenever an employee is coming on, the company that is doing the testing is paying, I don't know how much, $40, $50 or something like that for one of those drug tests, and that's just, that's not money. That's money they don't have to be spending. Jay, thanks for calling and sharing your story here tonight. I appreciate it, man. The toll-free number here, 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. So a little more here from the crazed prohibitionist who says Colorado's been ruined by cannabis legalization. Says here that in 2012, we were promised funds from marijuana taxes would benefit our communities, particularly schools. Dr. Harry Bull, the superintendent of Cherry Creek Schools, one of the largest school districts in the state, said, quote, so far, the only thing that the legalization of marijuana has brought to our schools has been marijuana. Because there was never marijuana in the schools before it was legalized. In the fiscal year 2016, and by the way, if the state promised schools something and they didn't deliver, well, that's the state's problem. That's your fault for trusting the state.
And really, was marijuana legalized for all ages?
No.
Yeah.
Definitely not.
Because I'm sure there's no cigarettes in those schools.
Yeah, we'll continue here because there's more, and you can share your thoughts. In fact, how much tax revenue did they rack up last year from marijuana sales in Colorado? We'll tell you about that on the way. Our number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom, 855-450-3733. We've got Skype. You can Skype in and join us. Take control of the airwaves. Bring up anything you want here on Free Talk Live.
Dash is digital cash, a digital currency designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast and easy, fees are low, and transactions are confirmed instantly. Pay anyone, anywhere in the world, anytime, for just pennies on the dollar. Dash is the first digital money that's governed by its users. Join Dash and help us build a better financial system for everyone. Find out more at dash.org. That's dash.org.
When I get to about 3/4, when I get down to the bottom, a couple more scoops, it's time to place my order. Dinovite.com.
Order a 90-day supply of Dinovite for your dog this week.
We'll send you a bottle of NomoFlea free.
NomoFlea flea spray kills fleas safely with no poison.
Because it's a polypeptide protein molecule made from
vegetable oil.
Try NomoFlea.
Free this week at Dinovite.com.
Just feed your dog right. Use Dinovite. DINOVITE.com.
Do you trust our economy? How about our banking system? Our president has stated we are sitting on a bubble right now, and that when the Fed raises interest rates, bad things are going to happen. Well, the Fed is raising rates here and now. There has never been a better time to turn your IRA or 401k into physical gold or silver with GSI Exchange. Call 833-GSI-GOLD. GSI Exchange can make this happen fast, and it's money you control, not the big banks. 833-GSI-GOLD. Ask about our bank failure survival guide and learn how your qualified IRA transfer can get you $1,500 in free physical gold or silver delivered right to your home. GSI Exchange has an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Call GSI Exchange at 833-GSI-GOLD. That's 833-474-4653. Or visit us on the web at gsi.gold.
The producers of Sesame Street have responded to the controversy over the recent New Yorker cover that showed Bert and Ernie as a gay couple celebrating the repeal of DOMA. Sesame Workshop released a statement today saying, quote, "We have never viewed Bert and Ernie as a gay couple, but as two friends who will do absolutely anything to get their rocks off. These pansexual perverts cannot be categorized in your narrow gay, straight, or bisexual paradigm. They're into some pretty sick shit." On their website, PBS released a long list of the duo's strange sexual fetishes, which range from shoving ice into their anuses so that they can shit cold water into women's mouths, to castrating stray dogs and then masturbating onto the animals' bleeding wounds. Although they're flattered that fans have turned the characters into gay icons, the producers explained that calling them gay would be inaccurate. Quote, "They will literally f*** anything that moves." The producers also added that Oscar the Grouch is neither male nor female, and that its trash can is designed to hide a lower body that is just a Lovecraftian monstrosity of hundreds of interlocking penises and vaginas.
This is the Onion News Network.
The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1. Share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2. Buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3. Give $5 a month to the AMP program. You likely buy all kinds of things online. Amazon is the largest online retailer. You can get what you need at the same prices with free Super Saver shipping by going to shop.freetalklive.com. Please do your online shopping at shop.freetalklive.com.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
Hey, it's Free Talk Live. We invite you to join us on the radio waves. You can take control of those airwaves toll free. 855-450 free, like freedom. It's 855-450-3733. Ian and Johnson in the studio tonight. And don't forget that you can join us online anytime you want over at freetalklive.com. We've got a new Free Talk Live forum. Well, I mean, new-ish. It's new as of the last few months. For Free Talk Live listeners to get involved in and talk to one another about stuff off of Facebook. And this is for all Free Talk Live listeners, not just the amplifiers, although amplifiers get a special Free Talk Live badge for the forum, which identifies you as a Free Talk Live supporter. So if you want to go and check out the forum, it's free to do. Just go to forum.freetalklive.com. It's actually part of the larger Shire forums, so it's one of the sub-forums in there, but the forum.freetalklive.com will take you directly to the Free Talk Live sub-forum. So check that out. It's free to register and get involved over there and interact with other listeners and some of the hosts over at forum.freetalklive.com. As we continue here with the Prohibitionists, a guy who's writing for USA Today, Jeff Hunt, in an opinion column saying that marijuana has devastated Colorado and that you should not legalize it nationally. He goes on with his misinformation and lie-filled piece, because that's all the Prohibitionists have in their corner, is to just lie to you. He says that in fiscal year 2016, marijuana tax revenue in Colorado resulted in $156,701,018 coming in for the Colorado state government. That's a lot of money. And I think it was like a year ago, it was a fraction of that. Like, it's been growing over time. And it only took it like 2 or so years for it to eclipse alcohol's tax revenue, which is huge.
Right.
To say that the money raised from cannabis higher than the money raised from alcohol is an amazing statement. But this guy belittles it. He says the total tax revenue for Colorado was $13.3 billion, making marijuana only 1.18% of the state's total tax revenues.
What is this guy smoking?
The cost of marijuana legalization in public awareness campaigns, law enforcement, healthcare treatment, addiction, recovery, and preventative work is an unknown cost to date. Senator Booker stated his reasons for legalizing marijuana. He's talking about a national proposal. Is to, quote, reduce marijuana arrests happening so much in our country, targeting certain communities, poor communities, minority communities, unquote. It's a noble cause, says the prohibitionist here, to seek to reduce incarceration rates among these communities, but legalizing marijuana has had the opposite effect. Huh? He says, according to the Colorado Department of Public Safety, arrests in Colorado of black and Latino youth for marijuana possession have increased 58% and 29% respectively after legalization. This means that black and Latino youth are being arrested more for marijuana possession after it became legal. Now, if that's true, then that's outrageous.
Yeah, that's what is going on there.
I would like to know more about that as well. If you are in Colorado and you can explain what's happening there, are these people who are smoking it in public and getting arrested or something? Like, how could do they have over a certain amount? Like, is there a certain legal amount in Colorado? I don't remember. I'm sure there is. I don't remember what it is, and they just have more than that. So.
Or maybe it's just cops that are saying that they have more than that, or
could be. I mean, we know that that prohibition doesn't work, and that even in these legalized environments, there's still some level of prohibition going on. In the same way that under alcohol legalization, there's still some counties that are dry counties, like in the South, for instance.
Right.
There's still some states where you can't buy it on Sunday, or you can't buy it here in New Hampshire. You can't buy it after 10 or 11:45 at night in grocery stores and things like that. So, I mean, those are still prohibitions. It's still illegal for people under the age of 21 to possess these things. So that's still a prohibition. Or if you have more than 2 ounces or whatever the legal amount is, that's still a prohibition. So we haven't seen the end of prohibition. Right. So to cite...
people need to be reminded, it's not like that in a lot of places around the world. You know, you can buy alcohol at like what?
All night.
Or in France, you know, like in other countries.
You can stay in the bar till the sun rises.
Well, yeah, but also the fact is that children can buy alcohol in France, you know, like in certain countries. You know, there are countries where all drugs are legal, right? I mean, there are actually some, what, was it the Netherlands that recently started experimenting? They just legalized everything.
You're talking about Portugal, and it wasn't recently. It was 15 more years ago.
Yeah, but the reports have started to come out about, hey, this is not gone poorly.
It's gone very, very well.
Right.
Dramatic reduction in addicts, and that's not because they're dying. It's because they're able to go and get help.
Right.
It's been an incredible success story. Anybody who wants to research Portugal really ought to, if you want to learn a thing or two about why prohibition doesn't work and how some level of decrim or legalization can help. But here on Free Talk Live, we advocate for the end of prohibition. So these legalization schemes that they have in Washington and Colorado and the other states that have done it, they're not true ends to prohibition. So this guy is citing a complaint, that is that more minority folks have been arrested since legalization. He's complaining about an aspect of prohibition and calling it legalization.
Right.
I mean, this is just so confused and so, wrong in the way this guy is communicating. Either he doesn't understand what's going on, or he's purposefully misrepresenting it. But if you want to stop black and Latino youth from being arrested for possession of marijuana, you have to truly end prohibition to where any amount, an ounce, 5 ounces, 20 pounds, any amount of it is legal. Any amount is legal to grow without a permit, because we've seen, we didn't talk about it, but a few weeks ago there was a story about some grower in Colorado got raided. Why? Because he didn't have a license. So the cops are still out there looking for people who don't have the government permission slips, and they're going in and they're putting them in handcuffs and stealing their plants, just like they've always done, because they can. Because it's not truly legal across the board.
Right.
And it needs to be. It's just a damn plant. He says, furthermore, a vast majority of Colorado's marijuana businesses are concentrated in neighborhoods of color. Leaders from these communities, many of whom initially voted to legalize recreational marijuana, often speak out about the negative impacts of these businesses. Now, I don't know, again, what he's referring to there exactly, but I'm sure you can find all kinds of people from those communities who will say different things.
A lot of times this type of person will write an article, but leaders from these things are often speaking out about, they're referring to like one person said something once in some small meeting somewhere,
Sure. You can always find somebody.
This type, like.
Yep. Let's go to Sarah. She's in New Mexico. And Sarah, you're on Free Talk Live with Ian and Johnson.
Yes. You know what? I was told that older people are actually happier the older you get. And I thought, I'm almost 50 years old, and I'm pretty happy. I'm a lot happier than when I was 18 or 20.
Why do you think that is?
Well, you know what? I feel that maybe we feel that I might only have like 40 more years to live, and I'd be out of this miserable place. Maybe that's part of it.
So you're happy because you're closer to death?
Right. It's kind of like, how people commit suicide to end their life? Well, I'm not doing it, but it's like I don't have much long to live, so I'm relieved of that burden. I feel like my testing are done. But I guess there's other, parts of being older. It's like there's less expectation. When you're younger, they expect you to go to college and have a career and expect so much out of you. Maybe when you're older, people don't expect much out of you.
Scott and Sarah tonight both just knocking it out of the park with the anti-life philosophy here, right? I mean, so.
Yeah, okay, I almost don't even know what to say. I'm almost at a loss for words.
Sarah, if you drive in cars more, you'll be closer to death, right? You should be happy if you're driving. You should get your driver's license and drive.
Well, the thing is that, that we're on a journey, and we think that our mission is done here on Earth, and we're completed with all of our testing and trials, and we finished the course. And our time is, we're not going to take our life, but when God takes our life, which is not far away, but maybe it's like a relief of a burden. I don't know. Okay. There's a lot of discussions about why people are happier when they're older. It's just when you get older, you don't get aggravated over little things anymore. When you're younger.
But don't you call every night complaining about little things like speeding cameras and red light cameras and, people driving cars? I mean, wouldn't you say those are aggravating to you?
Well, you know what? Police shootings here or robberies here, they're aggravating. But see, when you're older, you want to work on it, but you don't get aggravated. You don't get tormented with it. Because you know that you're going to give it up. I don't know.
It sounds like you've given up. Thanks for the call tonight, Sarah. Maybe we'll hear from you again. All right, out of time for tonight. We'll see you online in the meantime over at freetalklive.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, the road to freedom.